I thought the city was playing the music for a second.
Good evening. Welcome to West Covina City Council meeting. Today is October the 3rd, 2023, and it is 7:09 p.m. And my name is Rosario Diaz, and I am your Centennial Mayor. Tonight's invocation will be led by Pastor Kelly Dupay from Faith Community Church, and Mayor Pro Tem Tabatabai will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. All rise.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you once again for the privilege and the honor and the blessing of living and working in the great city of West Covina. Lord, we just pray your blessing now upon this council meeting tonight. Lord, that you would speak to our leaders as we share our hearts. Lord, that you would give them wisdom as they make decisions regarding all of us. Thank you, God, for your presence here. And Lord, tonight we also pray for every person that's out on the streets patrolling as a member of the West Covina Police Department. Lord, that you would be with them and bless them as they protect us and keep us safe. And so, Father, give them safety, but give them success in their mission. Be with our fire department as well. And we thank you, Lord, for everyone in our city that serves, that makes a difference, that is serving others so that we can live the lives that you want us to have. So, Father, we pray your blessing upon our city council and upon this meeting tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. If we can all remove our hats, right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Assistant City Clerk, roll call, please.
Good evening, Mayor. Councilman Cantos.
Here.
Councilman Wu.
Here.
Councilwoman Lopez Viado.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Tabatabai.
Present.
Mayor Diaz.
Here. City Attorney, is there anything to be reported out of our closed session?
Yes, Madam Mayor. With respect to the anticipated litigation on closed session, on a vote of 4-1, Mayor Pro Tem Tabatabai voting no, Council directed staff to join the lawsuit entitled City of Whittier v. Superior Court with respect to zero bail and bail schedules. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Okay, we have a couple of presentations here. I would like to invite Anthony Martinez, who is our fire inspector, to come down.
Testing. Testing, testing.
2023 fire prevention theme for this year is Cooking Safely Starts With You. Pay attention to fire prevention.
Good evening. Thank you. My name is Anthony Martinez. I'm the fire inspector here with the West Covina Fire Department. I'm here to announce the upcoming Prevention Week. As she stated, the theme is Cooking Safety Starts With You. Pay attention to fire prevention. This theme supports the efforts to give families safety tips while cooking at their residence, as well as ideas for fire safety with the upcoming holidays. It also reminds us, stay alert even when you're at home with your family. Safety never stops. The fire department has conducted its poster contest for an annual with all the schools and elementary schools in the area for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. We will be presenting them at our open house this Saturday at Station 2, located next to Cortez Park and the Senior Center. So come out, vote for your favorite poster. We're going to have vendors, some food, a lot of good stuff for the family, and a lot of good safety tips. Thank you.
Thank you. Boy, I better pay attention. Oh, excuse me. Come here. Come back. We're not done yet. I have this proclamation, Fire Prevention Week, October 8th through the 14th of 2023. Now, therefore, I, Rosario Diaz, Mayor of City of West Covina, on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby proclaim the week of October 8th through the 14th, 2023, as Fire Prevention Week in City of West Covina. Congratulations. I'd like to invite Mary Noyelian. She's the Chief Nurse and Clinical Executive from Queen of the Valley. And she's here to be recognized or to receive our proclamation for breast cancer awareness. Breast Cancer Awareness Month, held in October every year, aims to promote screening and prevention of the disease, which affects 1 in 8 women in the United States every year and 2.3 million women worldwide. Known best for its pink theme, that's why I'm wearing pink. The month features a number of campaigns and programs aimed at ranging from breast cancer advocacy organizations to local communities organizations.
Very much.
You're welcome. Would
Yes.
you like to say a few words?
Yes, on behalf of Emanate Health and Queen of the Valley Hospital, I'd like to thank Mayor for this proclamation, and I'd like to let you know that we do take care of cancer patients. We have a new, beautiful cancer center here very close to you guys, and we will be serving our community. That is my great pleasure and desire to see that we are able to serve our community. That's the best thing. I think it's the most rewarding for me as a chief nurse executive to see that we are able to serve our community with the best care. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We're very proud of that cancer
Thank you so much.
facility we have there. This month is also, I'd like to invite Joanne. Where is she? Joanne is from our Planning Managers Commissioners. She's, hi, Joanne. As we celebrate the 100th anniversary of the founding of City of West Covina this year, we provide recognition to community planning during the month of October. West Covina was established in 1923 because of community planning. Our residents at that time banded together to maintain quality of life and to prevent the construction of sewage farm. Today, we ask a thriving community. West Covina is one of the best places to live, work, and shop. We look forward to the future and recognize the dedication and commitment to our staff, our planning commission, and community members who form and shape our city. West Covina planners aim to create a safe, healthy, and livable community. And we have some commissioners here, Lavere and Shelby. And, oh, the staff.
With planning, we couldn't do our jobs without our community members, our business owners, and developers. We're really here to serve the community of West Covina. As a staff member, we provide support to the Planning Commission, which is its decision-making body of our land use decision-making body for the city. I'll pass it on to Livier. Sarah, Commissioner.
It's a pleasure to be able to be a voice for the residents and contribute to everything that we have in the city going on and building and making our city better. So I'm glad to be a part of this.
Hello, my name is Shelby Williams. It's been an honor serving the community of West Covina as a planning commissioner. Planning affects a large portion of our lives, be it housing, economic development, or transportation, even when it comes to health and safety. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Hello, my name is Miriam. I'm part of the planning staff. I just want to say thank you for this recognition, and I'm grateful to be part of this team.
Hello, my name is Jerry, and I'm also part of the planning staff. And I'd like to thank the community for being there for us. If you guys have any questions about ADUs, we're in room 208.
Also, I just wanted to promote one of the major projects that we're currently working on is a development code update, which will be reviewed and heard by the Planning Commission on October 10th. So this has been in the works for almost 2 years now, and we've had several community meetings throughout the city leading up to this. So I'd like to invite anyone who'd like to attend the public hearing for the Development Code update, which is October 10th. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to thank our planning department and our commissioners for being here today. And it's true, without them, we probably wouldn't get a lot of things done. So I really want to thank you for all the work that you do for us. So I have this proclamation here, National Community Planning Month, and it's dated October. Sorry, I can't see. So it's for October 2023, and it's National Community Planning Month in the city of West Covina. And I just want to give you this proclamation. And
Thank you.
okay, now we're going to move on to oral communications. If you would like to address the city council, please fill out your orange card and submit it to the city clerk, our assistant city clerk. When you hear your name being called, please start lining up in the center row. The timer will start when your name is called. How many do we have?
I have 11 speaker slips, Mayor.
Okay.
John Shoemaker, followed by Herman, followed by John Carson.
Good evening, everybody. Couple items. One, when we use the app and we send something in, could the person who gets it forward it in the name of customer service to the appropriate department? I put a thing in that over by the high school, the spacing in the streets makes it difficult to push a wheelchair across it forward. You have to go backwards. The front wheels are smaller. Got an email back, says, oh, we don't handle that. It's the street department or some area, and gave me the name and the email address and the phone number and everything else. In that time, they could have forwarded to the person. I mean, can we be a little, I could understand if it was a state issue or even a county issue. I don't know, and go from there, but it's within the city. I mean, and then to tell me where I can, how I can go about handling it would have been handled already. I don't think that's too unreasonable. A little bit about your request for pay raises. You do realize that we are the 14th worst run financial city in the state, not the 14th best. So last time I checked, there's cities on there who actually get paid zero. This council is paid more than 1,900 other positions that are consul or paid positions in the state out of 3,100. Your pay raise would put you in like the top 10%. You do understand that that's not necessarily good when we're in the bottom 5%. Your pay probably shouldn't be in the top 10%. And for any of you to say, to point to Burbank, Ontario, and Pasadena, Ontario's general fund budget alone is $172 million. That's just their general fund budget, not all of it. Burbank has, Ontario and Burbank have international airports. We have an international highway. They're actually interstate, not even international. Burbank has some of the largest media companies in the country there. I remember when in the past it would be brought up, I used to say, yeah, we're all about the same size, but during the day, Burbank will go from 100,000 to 300,000. Pasadena will go from 100,000 to 200,000. West Covina goes from 100,000 to 50,000, during the day. Doesn't match. You don't deserve it by any stretch of the imagination. And, to kind of end on a positive note, I was reading some of the things about the Moon Festival. And when I was there between 10:30 and 11:30, 11 and 12, there's hardly anybody there, but I'm glad to hear from various people that it picked up. That's nice to hear. That makes 2 festivals in this city put on by Mrs. Wu and her charity that were successful. Now I understand why one of the first meetings when Tony Wu was elected, he asked if he could have business cards drawn up for his wife to be his representative. Now I can understand why. She's the smart one in the family. Thank you.
Herman, followed by John Carson, followed by Bob Ryan.
All right, so let's talk about the Brown Act, especially the one regarding 54953.3, Mr. Duarte. As far as I'm concerned, Mr. Duarte, I don't have to put my name on a card. Not that you're listening and not that you effing care, but it's just a card. You see, the Brown Act is a tool that most of us should use to exercise our First Amendment, because apparently your mayor that runs this classic old town West Covina is delusional, right? Am I right? She's delusional. All the homeless people you see on the streets today, they're still in the same.
Address the council, please.
I'm addressing the people. We, the people of California, are sick and tired.
Address the council, please.
We are sick and tired of homelessness because I'm the mayor.
Herman.
Mayor, have him address the council, or he's disrupting the meeting.
Okay.
He's disrupting the
You're
meeting.
disrupting the council.
Silly, ridiculous mayor banging the gavel, making threats under the Bain Act 52.1. If the mayor has a personal problem with the speakers, she should not make it personal. Right, Mr. Wu? Because the only reason behind that is at 310-477-6565. FBI, if you're listening and if you're still tracking and monitoring this meeting, remember, the mayor likes to make threats. The mayor is a racist. The mayor is delusional. The mayor is off topic when she says that our city is thriving when the population of homeless people are on our streets. Now, if I'm a liar, I want someone to prove me I'm a liar to get that poor woman out there by Goodwill off of Glendora and that off of Vicente, off the streets. When is it going to happen? I see that lady there all the time. Every time I drive through there and she's crossing the street illegally, but mercy to her soul, God doesn't hate her. God doesn't hate the vulnerable people of our society. It's our mayor. The delusions of this person. And I know that the new manager is just going to do what the mayor asked her to do. That's why Miss Letty Lopez doesn't talk back to me as much. Because ever since she took that wedding ring off, she doesn't want to have any discussion with any of us of her private life and that accident that she had. No. But again, who am I under these circumstances to be told by point of order that I am a disruption to this meeting when the attorney there ignores 54.9.33? Why? 54.953.3. Why is that? Mr. Attorney? Why can't you show us your true colors and stick to the Ralph M. Brown Act? It's classic. Matter of fact, it's a proven point because I'm proving it now because, you see, I am still speaking. I am still the authority here at the podium. Backwards, I gotta listen to the mayor, I gotta respect the mayor now. What did Little Boozy say? Fuck the police. And that's a fact. NWA is not something that you dislike or you find unpleasurable. It is content exercised not just in music, it is content exercised in our First Amendment. It's not offensive, it's not vulgar. It's a point of conversation, 42 U.S.C. 1983. Fuck you, Mayor.
John Carson, followed by Bob Ryan, followed by Jerry Patras.
Good evening. My name is John Carson, Madam Mayor, council members. Nice seeing you again. The reason I'm here tonight is public safety concern with the zero bail for LA County. LA County has implemented the zero bail policy effective October the 1st, 2023. I am asking West Covina to follow the 12 other cities to join the lawsuit against LA County to stop this horrible policy. No law enforcement supports this zero bail policy. It will make all of our streets that are already dangerous more dangerous. This experiment dealing with crime is not working, and now we have the zero bail policy. We need to unite and stop this policy. We are heading in the wrong direction as a state, probably all the United States as far as I'm concerned. How many stores need to close because of theft before we realize that going easy on crime is not working? It's not working. I have stated in the past that we need accountability and consequences in our justice system. This is the fact. Zero bail policies resulted in 163% more total crimes and 200% more violent crimes. This was published in the Yolo County District Attorney's Office in 2022. Individuals released on zero bail were rearrested for a total of 160% more crimes than individuals released on bail. This is a fact. This is published. Please, council members, please join the other 12 cities to have a lawsuit against us. This really needs to be looked at. Our streets are dangerous enough. Our prices in the store are skyrocketing, and stores are closing. We got to stop it. So thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bob Ryan, followed by Jerry Patras, followed by Irma Tabatabai.
Hi there. First of all, I'd like to thank you, Mayor, and the City Council for letting me speak tonight. I know it's been a while since I've been here. Many of you know me for those of you who don't, my name is Bob Ryan. My son and his friend were brutally murdered a couple miles from here 6 years ago. Took 5.5 years of court dates to finally convict the gang member. And we have him put away for life. But it wasn't easy. I fought hard to get West Covina and other cities to vote no confidence in Kermit, a.k.a. George Gascon. Had it not been for Dean Logan and some corrupt LA County employees, we would have a recall election already. We now know we have plenty of over the amount of signatures we needed. They treated us very unfairly, and they made it almost impossible, but we are succeeding. But now there won't be a recall. There's no time. Now we have a new problem, zero bail in LA County. This is the biggest crock of crap ever. Another ploy by George Soros, George Gascon, and his followers to destroy the United States of America. Zero bail does not work. It was tried in Yolo County and other counties and failed miserably. Criminals with no bail were 163% more likely to repeat their crimes than criminals with bail. we must join the 12 other cities that are suing the county over this absurd policy. I'm asking the council to do the right thing and join the lawsuit. I know, Brian, you will not approve. He totally agrees with Gascon and wants to defund the police. Brian, you must live under a rock to not see the crime escalating in our county, in our city. It is darn right horrible out there right now. I hope the rest of you will vote yes. Tony, I hope you support this lawsuit. I know you were in favor of the recall signed the petition, even though you would not publicly admit it for political reasons. Okay, I understand. The police work hard and put their lives on the line every day. They need our support. We need more police, more funds for the police, not less or none, as Brian would like. There has to be consequences for bad behavior. If your child or your neighbor beats up your wife, do you say, oh, that's okay? No harm done. You just beat the crap out of my loved one. That's okay. If you say okay, it will happen more and more and more. No, Brian, this is not racist. If anything, I'll skip that part. I know. It saddens me that people like Brian teach our children the woke agenda. Forget this race crap. They're criminals. No matter what color they are, you're a criminal. Crime is out of control. You look around, and it's because of no consequences. We have to have consequences. We taxpayers pay for all these smash and grabs and store robberies when we go to the register. We pay who? We pay for that. Please join the lawsuit and help us remove George Gascon, these other corrupt district attorneys throughout the USA, sponsored by George Soros. I grew up in West Covina, and I remember when I was in the 5th grade and lived in Covina, my dad moved our family to West Covina because he thought it was a better place to raise a family than Covina. Times have changed. Now Covina has become much nicer. The streets are smooth and beautiful. The city is much prettier than ours. This is the fault of our council. We need a council that truly loves West Covina and wants it to be safe. Please, please, please help our city become a safer place for our children and grandchildren. Remember, ladies, get off your cell phones when you're in the shopping center parking lots. Be aware. Look in your car before you get in. If something doesn't look right, get security to take you to your car. Everyone be careful out there. Thank you again for letting me speak.
Thank you.
Jerry Patches, followed by Irma Tabatabai, followed by Douglas Ford.
Good evening. When I got up each morning this week and I would read things about our...
Excuse me. Pardon me. Okay.
About West Covina not being part of the zero bail lawsuit, it really was disturbing. Public safety, we all, I think, understand is your first, any government's first priority, and not to be there. If I understood what the city attorney said, you may have slipped it in or worked it in. It was not on an agenda. I'm going to look forward to seeing an amended agenda because I think he reported out. I would have loved to have heard your discussion. I think that was really important. When we drop the ball, you're correcting it, but we, the residents, deserve to hear your rationale on this. Mayor Pro Tem, I respect your convictions. I don't agree with you at all, but I really do respect your convictions. You and I know we don't agree. Okay. But he holds himself to what he believes, and that convictions are important to me. But please try, and maybe after public comments, maybe you could just quickly say what you've done and why. It would be really helpful, and not putting you on the spot. You don't need to say it, we know. But anyway, thank you.
Irma Tabatabai, followed by Douglas Ford, followed by R. Robinson.
Good evening. I came here to talk to the people of West Covina. I want to set the record straight. I am the proud mother of Brian Tabatabai. I was born in Mexico City. My mother was born in Waco, Texas. My father was born in Mexico too. my husband of 53 years came here in 1969 as a student. He is a proud Iranian American. To get his college education, he got his master's degree in engineering. My brother, he's a veteran of the Vietnam War, and he still helps the veterans at the VFW region. We are very old and proud family, and we have taught our children respect, honor, to love their country, and have empathy. My people from Mexico has contributed to this country. And also my family, my Iranian family, they have a lot of doctors, engineers, which make this country great. I've been so hurt for people saying, my son is not my son. I wrote something here, but I cannot say things. Right now, I'm just talking from my heart. I'm proud of you, Brian, and I'm proud of my Mexican roots, and I'm also proud of the Iranian culture that I hope you have been in contact to that people. You know how wonderful we are. Thank you so much. I hope we'll all be all loving, and I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Douglas Ford, followed by R. Robinson, followed by Armando Sanchez.
That was awesome. Hi, guys. My name is Douglas Ford. I live in this awesome city. I have 3 businesses in this city. You guys all know me. I want to say again, I love this city, and I want the best for this city. First, I'd like to just address the last time I was here when I felt that we were being targeted. I found out that it was the Code Enforcement Director, Milan, that came into my business and that I referred to on that Friday. It's my understanding that city offices are closed on Friday. He does not work on Friday, and I'm asking the city of why or who sent him into my business on that Friday. Where other businesses, was he also sent into other businesses on that Friday? Or was it only my business on that Friday? And again, who sent him there on that Friday? He did finally reach out last night to Matt, my business partner, and I really look forward to meeting him. I still have not met him, and hopefully we could get past this and move forward on this. Second of all, I'd like to real quick talk about the porta potty that I brought up last week that the city said that they had they didn't know about. Matt emailed you guys all later on in that night and gave you guys a copy of our citation. It was for a porta potty for $100, so it was done to us. And I just want to set the record straight. No city employee has reached out to me saying that they were sorry or that it was a mistake. Can we please do business better in this city, guys? You know, the city makes mistakes, I make mistakes, we all make mistakes. Just own up to it and apologize to me. I'm the one that brought it forward. Just, you know, I understand mistakes happen. Just own it and let's move on. If anybody would like to see the violation, if you guys didn't see that email, I have it with me here today. I should have brought it last week. But there was a violation for me having a porta potty in front of my business, which we did not have. Okay, with that behind us, I want to bring up another targeting. that's sick to my stomach. Matt and I purchased a bakery in West Covina that was 46 years old. We purchased it in 2017. It was called Cakes Created with Love. Donna was the owner and she was retiring. We changed the name of it to Sweet Street Bakery, and we ran it for approximately 3 years. During the pandemic, cakes were not being sold anymore. My business went to zero. I then changed that business to Tamale Street Bakery in November of 2020, doing all health department requirements to rename it, just as I did with Sweet Street Bakery. And everything was fine. We have gotten A's every single time the health department has come in. We've never gotten a B. Almost 3 years later, the health department walks in on Wednesday and closes us down. Okay? We are done. We're no longer in business. The health department called us into a fine hearing the very next day and said, Matt and I attended it and told us that we are no longer grandfathered in after 6 years of owning this business, that we have to go get city plumbing permits, new city electrical plan, new Anzol system with city permits, and put new grease traps in before we could reopen again, which would be over $100,000+ to redo this in a building that's very old. Almost 3 years later, why am I being attacked and why am I being told this? I truly believe somebody is behind this. Somebody knows someone in the health department, and to say that I've had zero issues in 6 years and now my business is closed. Why did that happen? I don't want to point fingers. We have hired a law firm to help me out to figure this out. But it is not right. I've spent $200,000 building this business over the last 3 years. I'm not going to put in another $100,000 for things that already exist in that. Grandfathering, is very common. I shouldn't have to do new lines because the law has changed. The restaurant is still the exact same. We're closed down. I've transferred all employees to new locations. We didn't have to lay anybody else. We did not lay anybody else off, but I will not stop coming here and speaking out. I'm not going to be bullied, and I will stand up for what's good in this city. I know now why other businesses are scared to come here. I truly believe that somebody is behind this, asking for all this city stuff for this business, and we're just going to close and move our money somewhere else.
R. Robinson, followed by Armando Sanchez, followed by David Schwartz.
Here we go again. Pauli Mueller was a Swiss chemist who received the 1948 Nobel Prize in Medicine for his 1939 discovery of insecticidal qualities and use of DDT in the control of vector diseases such as malaria. This deadly substance, DDT, it's disposed of at BKK, has now been banned worldwide. Banned worldwide. In this context, I'll mention that 2 University of Pennsylvania researchers who just received this year's Nobel Prize in Medicine was just announced today. Remember also, Obama received for his extraordinary efforts to, quote, to strengthen international diplomacy and cooperation between peoples, unquote. Obama received a Peace Prize, Nobel, in 2009. Too bad they left Biden out, the great Ukraine peacemaker, left him out. So he takes bribes. He and his son take bribes, apparently. So you can see where this is going. Figure it out. Maybe the 4th generation bioweapons warfare people will get the Peace Prize next year for discovering how to kill innocent people in novel new ways. While I'm on this tangent, Carrie Mullis, who also received a Nobel Prize in science for the PCR test, that deserves mention because it's relevant to the scamdemic, polymerase chain reaction. You can do your homework and figure out that. All of our basic liberties are in jeopardy as our national borders remain uncontrolled. The Declaration of Independence talks about inalienable rights granted humans by God. But contrast this in a democracy with failing elections, integrity, and unreliable official media. They're unable to discover the truth, especially since the, quote, trusted news initiative. I'm a conspiracy theorist, and my favorite conspiracy is the trusted news initiative by the media cartel. Our basic liberties are in jeopardy as our national borders remain uncontrolled. So now I'll shift gears. I want to present an update on the vaccine cult. Messenger RNA, gene therapy, experimental drugs in the arms of all sheeple, pregnant women as guinea pigs in America. Vax-induced diseases are multiplying way past immunity and myocarditis problems, and the majority of MDs are stupid, unaware of hydrogel, graphene oxide, nanobiotechnology. The standard protocol continues to be recommended to patients. To this day, the package insert is blank. They don't know what's in it, but they just know they're ordered according to the standard protocol. Give it. They don't know what's in it. They haven't got a clue. They just blindly follow the FDA, CDC orders like fools, just blind military-style discipline. Follow orders without debate and forethought. Just take my black magic potion every 6 months. It's good for you. But because MDs don't know and they don't want to risk their license, they just are trained in medical schools like monkeys to be shills for the pharmaceutical industry. So the medical monopoly, the medical mafia, they're ready and willing to put naturopaths and chiropractors and energy medicine practitioners out of business to maintain their power over the public. Medical tyranny and pandemics and boosters every 6 months. So SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome, and autism.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson.
Are.
Thank you.
Let me finish my damn sentence. I just want to finish my one sentence. So SIDS and sudden infant death syndrome and autism are vax-induced. That's truth until proven otherwise. Otherwise. Amish people.
That's more than one sentence.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, residents of West Covina. My name is Armando Sanchez. I'm a resident of West Covina since 1994. Retired healthcare professional, so I know what you're talking about over there.
Please,
young man.
Please address the council. Thank you.
Yes. 8 years veteran, healthcare professional, retired. God got me to that spot. But I'm here to talk about the Galaxy track. Last year, one of the members here, I won't name names, in my district, we got our streets paved, but not all of them. But I'm just asking for a stop sign or speed bumps. I've been asking for this for 15 years. I've had my car hit by probably a FedEx truck because he came too close. If there was a stop sign or speed bump, he would have had to obey. When we did when I came up to you guys 15 years ago, we had a police officer posted down the end of the road. I live on Morganfield by Valley. I'm on the very south end of the Galaxy track. And that police officer, I think, was there for like a whole week, and he gathered many tickets, many citations. The speed limit is a little too fast. There it's posted for 30. I think it should come down to 25 because I've noticed more younger kids in the neighborhood walking with their moms to school. So it's really a safety issue. I've had 2 cars hit there, many animals, wildlife, raccoons, skunks been killed on that street, especially from Valley View to Morganfield. So that's like 3 blocks. And they're just, if I get out of my car, I have to yield to a car that's doing 40, 45. It's very scary. And then I also want to, there's a lot of new families moving in. I would like to, see if you guys can do a survey. We have 2 green parks out there, greenways on Valley and Morganfield. Maybe divide one of them into 2 spots and make dog parks for small dogs and big dogs, because I'm getting poop on my lawns, other neighbors too. And, I think the neighbors would appreciate that. If they had, we just put our little Chihuahua down. She couldn't walk anymore, but I would have used that park. So if you can put that in, maybe in an agenda. But I reached out to this lady, Nicole Robbins. It's been 14 months. She's not responded. I forwarded you the email, and there's still no response. I know that our taxpayers pay these people off-site. She's from the city of Chino. She's your traffic department, whatever. But I think just, we need to put 2 stop signs or speed bumps, just right there on the corner of Point Cedar and Morganfield. It's a very dangerous, very fast-paced. Cars are coming fast. I'm like I said, I'm not as mobile as I used to be in my 30s. I'm a senior citizen now. But to this gentleman that was speaking before me, I just want to warn us. Our president in office just gave up our sovereignty for WHO, for your medical health. So just be aware. If you don't know what that is, look it up, because we can be on the WHO's agenda. And, I took those 2 shots not knowing in the beginning, because I'm a healthcare professional, and I wish I would have never done it, because there are sudden cardiac arrests. These young players that are dropping, a lot of doctors are being sheep. They're being held by the pharmaceutical. I saw it evolving in the 42 years of practicing medicine with orthopedics right next to me, working side by side with surgeons. But it's scary. It's very scary. It's alarming. I just want you guys to know, just what I'm saying is I'm not in a conspiracy theory, whatever, but it's very scary. I will not take those shots. I pray that we don't have to get them mandated for us, and again, I didn't know that it came into effect with no bail. I think there needs to be bail when people commit crimes. This is a Judeo-Christian country that was set up by our forefathers and this state too, to have some kind of order. If we don't, it's going to be massive craziness. And, a lot of us love our First and Second Amendments, and we'll just have to battle down and just take care of our own. And I hope that it doesn't come to that. I hope it doesn't come to where your family came out of in 1979, what happened in Iran. That's not, we don't want to go there, because, I was in the Navy at that time, and it was very scary.
Thank you, sir. David Schwartz, followed by Win Zong, followed by Jorge Ortega.
Hi, thank you, everybody. And I think Mr. Duarte said something that people didn't hear about the zero bail thing, because that's what I came prepared to speak with, too. So I'm going to add a little bit more to what the other speaker said. I'm here to speak in regards to the new zero bail policy that took effect in Los Angeles County on Sunday, October 1st, despite the objections of many law enforcement, civil leaders, and concerned citizens like me who say the policy will undermine the efforts to fight crime. The policy allows criminal suspects accused of so-called nonviolent and non-serious crimes to be cited and released or booked and released when they would have had otherwise been held on bond. Examples of offenses subject to this wisdom is guns, such as possession of a loaded firearm, sexual battery, violence against children or elders, and contact with a minor with intent to commit sexual offense, as well as persons arrested for felony while on parole. It also includes most thefts, vehicle code violations, and offenses against property such as burglary and vandalism. It's not bad enough that we have the most dangerous man in Los Angeles County, District Attorney George Gaston, whose policies of releasing criminals from jail, whether by bail or no bail, has emboldened criminals to do whatever they want. In fact, I blame Gaston for the murders of numerous innocent victims, including 2 El Monte police officers and the recent cold-blooded homicide of the Los Angeles County Sheriff in Palmdale, directly due to his absurd, unreasonable, illogical, inappropriate, and immoral principles of letting prisoners out of jail. By having a zero bail position, it's going to be the lawmakers, by having a zero bail position, it's going to be the lawbreakers running our city and county without any punishment or oversight. This is why I ask the city of West Covina to join the list of dozens of cities, Arcadia, Artesia, Covina, Downey, Glendora, Industry, Lakewood, Laverne, Palmdale, Santa Fe Springs, Vernon, and Whittier, in the lawsuit filed in the Los Angeles County Superior Court to assist in overturning this horrible and perilous decision. And now that I have a little bit of time, there's 3 other little things I'd like to say. First of all, I'm sorry I missed that State of City event last week. I volunteer at a food pantry every Thursday, and I just couldn't get there on time. Secondly, on my street, I see that Edison is changing out all our street lights, that they're taking out the steel street lights and putting in concrete ones. I think they started yesterday. And I just want to know if that is really just coming from, that is being paid by Edison, or if the city's also putting money in. I guess these been in the road for about 70 years and they're beginning to corrode underground. And then the last thing that Lisa kind of said to me in private there about the resolution, the anti-Semitism resolution that'll be in their next agenda for a vote. If you guys need any help, if you guys need to talk to Jason Moss, the executive director, to help guide you on which one, because I think, Madam Mayor, I think you may have misunderstood the resolution. I think you were looking at another one, not the one that I brought up. If you want to talk afterwards, I'll be happy to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Wen Zong, followed by George Ortega, followed by Mr. G.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, council members, Ms. Acting City Manager, staff, and community members. I'm Wen Zong, West Covina Library Manager. I wanted to thank Councilwoman Lopez Oviedo and Councilmember Wu and the community members for taking the time and express your concerns about continued closure of West Covina Library. And I have passed along your concerns and questions to my library upper management. I wanted to tell you that we totally understand your frustration and disappointment. I'm very disappointed also, to be honest. But we have no control of the construction schedule. As I mentioned at the last city council meeting, that we encountered a lot of hurdles in the constructions and the supplies. And we wanted to thank you for understanding and for your patience as we handle these challenges and hurdles in the infrastructure improvement and the overall refurbishments to this 62 years old building. We actually looking forward to celebrate with you and with the community, and when all the refurbishments, all the renovations complete. So in the meanwhile, sidewalk services available at the West Covina Library, and nearby branch libraries are open for in-person services. So at the West Covina Library sidewalk service, we have COVID self-test, a free COVID self-test available for the public to take. And we also have laptop kits with internet access, and the state parks passes available for customer to check out and use. In addition, we have expanded our Park and Connect program, which extended Wi-Fi to the parking lot 24/7, and there's no library card is needed to connect to this Wi-Fi service. And we also provide a telephone reference service, a host pickup service, and a library card registration, and a book drop for returns available 24/7 as well. Thank you, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Jorge Ortega, followed by Mr. G.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council, for having us here again. So as we were here last weekend or last meeting to kind of address an issue we had with field lighting. So as of this morning, we still have no resolution for the lighting. We exhausted all of our resources. We had a vendor who was willing to donate his time. He went out on his way to research the lights. He found the lights. He was going to purchase the lights. We were going to do the installation, but unfortunately there was an issue with his insurance that didn't match with the city's insurance. So unfortunately, he couldn't do the repairs, and that was our last resort as far as lighting goes. So again, I'm trying to follow up with you guys to see if somehow we could close this loop. We ask questions. We get kind of pushed off a little bit. We're working on it, but there's never no complete circle till we know which way do we go. The last I heard is that they're supposed to start the lighting October 30th, but the lights are still on back order, so I'm not sure how that's going to work. But again, we're asking for your support. Give us some type of direction where we can kind of help our youth program out. We're with the back, our backs against the wall. We're mid-season. And I mean, honestly, I don't know where else to go. Obviously we can't spend millions of dollars in insurance to keep our youth program going. And again, we're all volunteer. Everything we do here is for the kids. All the stuff they're talking about, the zero crime and everyone getting catched and released. I think honestly, this starts from our youth program. If we have outlets for our kids to be able to come and kind of learn, the right way to be, or right etiquette, I guess, to be out on the streets and stuff like that. I think our program is one of the very few programs that's been here. I mean, again, we've been here since 1965, all volunteer. Everything goes back to the program. Just unfortunately this year we're really struggling, having a place for them to play. So if you guys can somehow, circle back to us, let us know what options do we have. Because again, we're on our last limb here with you guys, trying to figure this out. I do want to thank Oli for coming out at our homecoming. It was a huge success. We had at least 600 families out there. They were all cheering for him for coming out. Obviously our board as well for doing what they do to support our youth. We did
not get invited.
So Frank actually got a letter. Okay, so I mean the letter was sent out. I don't know if it was sent to the wrong email, but they told us it was a conflict.
I went last year at last minute, but this year we didn't get any invitation. We don't even know you have a homecoming. Yes. We will be there.
Okay, so I mean, again, it might have been an issue with Frank Williams was the one that sent the request. I believe he read a letter from, Mayor that they couldn't make it because of the conflict of interest with the event you guys had. But thank you, Oli. I don't know how you got the message, but you came out and we really, really, really appreciate it.
Oli joined both events. We can do the same thing too. Okay. If we want to be there.
Well, we'll call you out for sure. We do have a trunk or treat coming out, and we'll bring you guys out. Cause
don't forget, invite us next year.
All right, we couldn't invite you for opening day because obviously we had an issue with baseball. They were still dragging on their season, but we'll definitely invite you guys out. And just again, I wanted to thank our board members for doing all that they do for our program, all of our staff for doing what they do, and a special thanks to Selena, which is our city AD and VP of certifications. Without her, our program wouldn't have gotten off this year. So I did forget to mention her in the homecoming, so I wanted to publicly thank her again as well. So thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Mr. G.
Good evening. I have a couple points. I was at the dinner. I appreciated it. It was a good time. The chefs were good. Food was good. Orders was good. So we all represented the city. But I had a question on my table. I thought we were city state for 2023. On my table, it said 2022. Who's in charge of that? Was that an oversight? Was it lack of standards? Was it somebody else too important to take a look at what needed to be on the table? This is what I keep talking about. Like the lights, like that young man just stated. Let's talk and look at crime. When people played football, when young men played football in droves, not soccer, with football, they brought their discipline. You learn discipline and behavior, quality behavior by football. Not soccer, not baseball, not tennis, not golf, which I participated. But it's the discipline that I learned in football, in that field. Had I dreamed that I could have played at night? Not till I was in college and in high school. You want to look at the future of this city and the quality of the city? It's a youth football team. Young ladies participate in cheering. They learn to actually learn self-esteem. Talk about women power, that's where they develop it. The other concern I have is from the city attorney. I still haven't got a definition on what a citizen is. Okay? We're going to bring up an issue later on about bus beautification. Driving over here, I saw the opposite. Homeless people taking over the bus right across where West Covina Fashion Plaza is, one of the anchors that brings people to the city to do business, where young women get off the bus with their children, get homeless around. That's not safe. Yes, Forbes said we're the third safest city in America. But in the last year, my car has been broken in 3 times. That's not safe to me. I don't know what statistic they're using, or is it statistics that are changing? For example, taking the felony, bring it down to misdemeanor, or no cash bail. This country was one of the few countries that actually had bails for crime. If you look at it historically, it keeps people in line, yes. Some people may not have it, the dime. But there's an old saying, if you can't do the time and you can't do the crime, and don't waste dimes on trying to help them. So I would really like all of you to really consider joining a lawsuit to keep West Covina safe, the county safe, the state safe. Because when people are safe, they're going to go and have restaurants. They're going to shop at places. They're going to have hope that the city that they live in is a good city to bring a family. Families make this city. Businesses make this city. Councilmen bring it together or divide it. So please, join the lawsuit. None of that? Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
No further speakers, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay. Assistant City Manager, can you please respond?
Yes, good evening, Mayor and fellow council members. One of the big items this evening was the zero bail. As our city attorney reported out earlier, the council did vote to join the lawsuit. I did want to clarify that the zero bail was posted by the county, I believe, 10 days ago, and the lawsuit was filed Friday. So the vote by the council tonight was the first action that was taken, and we will be joining that lawsuit. The other thing, too, is zero bail. Wanted to address Doug's comments. We got back to his business partner, but we will get back to him. And we did get the citation for porta potty. There was miscoding from our processing agency, and that's why there was a miscommunication in that. But we will get in touch with him and address his concerns regarding his code enforcement citations, and we will see what we can do to help him with LA County's issues as well with the health department. Mr. Sanchez, thank you for your service. You said you're an 8-year veteran. Wanted to let you know that we do have a traffic calming application for the kind of requests that you had mentioned. We have your number, and if you want to, we can have staff reach out to you, or if you have an email, we can email that application to you. Mr. Shoemaker had some concerns about the Go Request app. I will have staff take a look at that and make it more efficient for the end users, and so they're not getting told to be redirected, but that they do get redirected internally, since we know which department's appropriate for their issues. David Schwartz also mentioned some Edison improvements that are happening throughout the city, and I had them. They are doing improvements. They're replacing the poles. And so they're replacing 3,000 metal street lights located throughout the city, with approximately 800 being done this year between September and mid-November, and the remaining 2,200 being completed in 2024. So it's a $20 million project to Southern California Edison, and there's no charge to the city or to our residents. The other item as well is thank you, Win-Win, for your updates on the library. we want an ETA on a completion, so we might follow up with you on that request. And then in regards to George Ortega, we were working with some possible alternatives with the lighting at Cortez. We hadn't gotten a chance to confirm with him, but we do have a path moving forward to make sure that the sports or the Bruins will have lighting for their practice this last season with the outdated lights. So we will touch base with him and confirm how we're moving forward. So. And then I did want to thank Mrs. Tabatabai. It's always nice to have family come and speak or support our efforts. So very nice of her to come and speak. And then Mr. G, State of the City booklet. Thank you for attending the event and supporting the State of the City dinner and employee recognition. So the booklets that were on the tables are for the previous year, and that's why we had Mayor Castellanos still in the booklet. And then the mayor this year is the one presenting it for this her year as mayorship. So there is a disconnect, but just wanted to clarify, we did get that question a lot, so you're not the only one. And I believe that addresses all of them.
Councilman Wu?
Yeah, okay. I have a suggestion regarding the light issue. If they can get a light and that they have insurance problem, can we hire the installer with the insurance, have city to help them to install the light, then the problem is solved. And I think installation much cheaper than continue to rent those lights. And with a proper lighting, they can continue to use with their football season.
That was an option that we wanted to get in touch with George to discuss, if they have the lights that we can have our staff install it, or if we just want to relocate the existing light. So that we want to work with them.
Yeah,
we want to
if
see
they
the
already
best
have
path
the light
forward.
purchase, okay, they just have problem with the insurance, then I think that's an easier way. Then we don't have to move from the Little Lakes field to swap the line, so we could just use their line and we can use our installer, okay, and with proper insurance. And that is my suggestion. Another thing is Burrito Street, okay, and regarding, okay, and if they already, Tamale Street, if they already operate 6 years, why county health insurance came to stop them? And I was surprised they got shut down. So can we check, okay, why? They shouldn't. If they already operate and they've been passing every year, why they came to harass them?
I don't know why they shut them down. That's why I'm extending help to, we'll see what we can do to get that resolved with the county.
Can you give the information to the city, and then we look into the county, see what we can do, because it doesn't make sense if you already operate for a long time and he's a grandfather. So that is my suggestion, so we can resolve the issue. Okay, yeah, I'm done.
Councilwoman Lopez Villaro.
Yeah, sorry, we don't have our health department yet, so that's another thing. But as for the library, we understand you don't have control. The residents want to know what you do have control of. And so we requested your supervisor to come and present, show a presentation, show what's being done, because we don't know what it's coming out, what it's looking, the view of the drawings and everything. So that's what we're requesting for a presentation for all the residents to hear. Is there a contact number that the residents can call? And because the excuse of sorry, we want to know what is stopping it, what's preventing it, or are they just putting us on the bottom of the list? So that's what we're requesting, and I know the city manager will look into that and get them to present here. As for the residents, when it comes to public safety, I want to make it known, and I think many residents know where I stand on this. And I just wanted to remind people that I was the one who initiated the no confidence vote on Gascon, and I question his policies, his ineffective policies, which mind you, I'm in the trenches. I know what's going on, and I know what's not working. So I hate it when they draft this paper that does not work. So when I saw the article with 12 cities against the zero bail, and we weren't on it, I was upset, of course. Why wasn't it brought to our attention? I quickly contacted our assistant city manager, acting city manager, and our city attorney to discuss, why wasn't this brought to our attention? We spoke over the weekend, and so this was put in our closed session. I wish it was on our agenda, but I would like a minute for our city attorney to state why it wasn't put in. We did discuss internally, and as you know, myself and Mayor Pro Tem Tabatabai were night and day with this. He's all the way here, I'm all the way here in regards to public safety and our views. But just to remind you, it was voted 4-1, of course, with the exception of him, to move forward with the joining the other cities so that with a lawsuit of the zero bail. And but I just want to make it clear, and I made it clear at the closed session to our city that when it comes to public safety or homelessness, that it's quickly brought to our attention as quick as possible, because I would have loved to see West Covina part of that list. But we are going to be part of that list. So, City Attorney, can you please explain why this wasn't, so that the residents understand? I know you mentioned about the timeline and everything. So,
Madam, the bail schedule just came out, was implemented on Sunday. Whittier had a council meeting the prior Tuesday and directed their staff, which happens to be your city attorney, Jones Mayor, as well, to prepare a TRO, a temporary restraining order, or permanent injunction. They filed that last Friday. They will now amend the complaint to add cities that have joined. Every city now is trying to get on. We got on tonight. We'll be on the amended complaint. And we've asked for a neutral site for the hearing, and West Covina will be involved from this point forward.
Thank you. And I also wanted to, in regards to public safety, I know I've had a conversation with one of our residents, John Carson, whose daughter was brutally murdered, and he always has to continue to go to these parole hearings. I know I hope you don't mind me sharing, but he did inform me that the person who committed murder committed suicide in his jail, and he had a parole hearing this December. So I know that he doesn't have to deal with that anymore, has to come. And, death penalty is a whole new different topic that, I'm for. So I just want to let people know, but I know California and the rules and the laws and everything, but I just want to make it clear when it comes to public safety where my hard stance is on that. So thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. Before I speak on the zero bail policy, which I think the public deserves a nice discussion, I would also like to reiterate how important it would be to have the construction management for the library to come and present to the residents of West Covina, to share what the issues were, what is the timetable, and also, some renderings on what it's eventually going to look like. So at least we can feel like, all right, eventually we are going to have this world-class library that we've been promised. We have no clue as to what exactly we've been being patient for. So if we can have that done, I don't see any reason why we can't get a presentation. We get plenty of presentations on other things. Now, as for the zero bail, I am a proponent for zero bail. I believe in due process. I believe that we do not have two-tier system of law. And again, the way our bail system currently works is it criminalizes poverty. Those who cannot afford the bail have pretrial detention. We are a society that believes in innocence until proven guilty. Our current bail system, for those who can't afford bail, separates families. Children are put into foster care, and we understand that each time children are separated from family, that adds to the ACE score. And we know the higher your ACE score, the more likely that you are going to have issues going forward. So it is a public safety issue. And these are all realities. And most importantly, we believe in a just system. And there should not be a system where those who can afford to pay bail can bail out, go through their trial, and go through the due process that the Constitution guarantees. And those who cannot must stay incarcerated, and then it becomes a coercive process where people can be leaned on and plea to things to be released. Again, we should not have a two-tier system of justice. That is what we have. I'm a huge believer in our Constitution, and I'm a huge believer in due process. And I'm a huge believer in a justice system that treats everyone equally. And our current bail system does not do that. So, again, it was a discussion that we had. We had this discussion during the no confidence vote of Gascon. Councilwoman is very clear in her convictions, and I think we always know where she stands. I'm very clear in my convictions. I think people are clear where I stand. I think I respect the councilwoman for always, being, again, clear, as I am also clear. It was a vote. Again, it was 4-1. I was the one to vote against it, and those are my reasons. And again, it was a very respectful discussion. I will say that. I think that's all any one of us ever asked for, even in disagreement, that we can have that discussion of respect. And like I said, I respect my colleagues. The discussion again was very, passionate but respectful. So thank you, Mayor. I'll give the floor.
Thank you. I, too, agree with Councilwoman Leti Lopez Villaro. I am on board with this lawsuit. I believe that criminals should be held accountable. And if you don't have the money to bail yourself out, then maybe you shouldn't do the crime. So, and you mentioned, we understand that I guess it's poor people that are not able to pay for this bail. Well, what about when that poor person that just jacked somebody's car from a working poor person that cannot go to work anymore? What about that person? Who's going to fight for them? And I'm sick and tired of the crime that's happening in our city, in our state, and in our country. And this whole limit of $950 where people can come and smash and grab, it affects all of us. It's not safe out there. And I want to feel safe when I go shopping. And I don't feel that. And I just think that if you don't want to go to jail, don't do the crime. That's the bottom line. Respect your areas. Respect where you live. Respect others. That's the bottom line. And I was always taught, keep your hands to yourself and just do the right thing. That's all that matters. Thank you. Anyone else want to say anything about this? Councilman Cantos?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I wanted to express my views on this because so folks can understand where I'm coming from. I really believe that law enforcement has been capped at the knees in more instances than one, in which they have worked to enforce our existing laws, and then when they arrest people for things that they have reasonable reason to believe that something has happened where they've committed a crime, then they're brought in and then they're let go and then they're back out on the street, and then it just happens over and over again. That depletes our resources. It also means that there is less of a deterrent to crime if there are perpetrators who feel that they can operate with impunity because there is no penalty there. And it just is something that we need to be tough on. And it does not mean that we should not have compassion. The thing that I have compassion for are our victims. I, as a crime victim, know what it's like to be assaulted. I know what it's like. And if somebody has assaulted me, whatever their situation is, they deserve to be penalized accordingly. And the point was brought up where there's a dichotomy where if somebody can afford to post bail, they're out, while others who can't afford aren't out, and then they end up being in jail, and that criminalizes poverty. But it isn't the poverty that's the issue. It's the act that brought them into the situation that they needed to be arrested in the first place. What about the focus on that? So it's really important that we understand that when it comes to justice, that we need to realize that we as law-abiding citizens have rights too. We have the right to walk on our streets and to be in our community without being afraid that people can do things to us without any real penalty levied against them. And when we work hard to restore ourselves to a point where law enforcement can have the tools that it needs, then that can serve as a deterrent. And when there's more of a deterrent to crime, then that would mean that people would perhaps think twice before perpetrating crimes against us. And then that would bring the crime down. And that's where there's more justice, because that means that we are living in a safer society where we actually feel like we're not only do our law enforcement have the tools they need, but we'll also be protected and we'll be made safe. And so the statistics statistics are clear that when law enforcement is capped at the knees the way that they have been, it just has really detrimental results for the citizens of the community. And so that's why I voted for and pushed as well for our joining the lawsuit.
Thank you, Councilman. Okay. We're going to move forward with, our acting city manager has to give us a report.
Yes, good evening again. So we've had a couple events in the last couple weeks since our last council meeting. We had the Touch a Truck on September 23rd. It was from 11 to 1 p.m. in the West Covina City Hall parking lot. Children and parents alike got to explore, climb, and touch vehicles of all shapes and sizes. Hands-on fun for everyone that attended. Participants got to meet and greet with our West Covina first responders. We had food booth fundraiser was provided by the West Covina Police Explorers. Participants enjoyed free kids crafts, face painting, over 50 vendors, DJ, and the kiddie train ride. So it was a really great event, well attended. I think everyone had a great time. We also are hosting open houses among our different facilities so that the community can come and learn what kind of programming's offered and get to know what kind of rentals we have as well. So we held the Shadow Oak Community Center open house Tuesday, September 26th. The center showcased its various classes offered, as well as 2 different demos provided by the center's contractors, Mary, who provided a Zumba demo, and Derek, whose student Joseph demonstrated his piano talents. And we also had a singer who sang very well. In conjunction with the open house at Shadow Oak, we also had the reading adventure. I believe this is the second one that we've had, Roxanne? Oh, third one. So it's a great little, there's different stations and you could read the book throughout the different stations, and then there's arts and crafts at the facility after you read the book throughout the park. So we will make sure to stay tuned for the next reading adventure. The various partners at Shadow Oak include LA County Library, Kuro Managed Print Productions, Special Needs Coffee provided giveaways to all attendees, and the open house welcomed around 100 residents. So we hope everyone comes to the next open house, which I believe will be at Cameron. For that information, it'll be on our website. Next, we had our 3rd annual State of the City and Employee Recognition Dinner. It was the Centennial State of the City this year, with our Centennial Mayor hosting the event. This year, we were able to include, like I said, the State of the City Employee Recognition, including public safety awards. And we added business awards for our business community. So that was something that we were able to bring back. We also got school district updates from West Covina Unified School District, Covina Valley Unified School District, and we were able to welcome for the first time Roland Unified School District to the State of the City. And I wanted to thank all the staff that helped make this event great. It was team effort with our community services staff that were in charge of, cooking our delicious meal, and our economic development staff and city manager staff who helped coordinate all the presentations and the decorations and everything. So thank my staff, and then thank all the attendees who came and joined us that evening. It was a very nice evening, and we look forward to everyone coming next year. And then this Saturday, even with the rain, we had a very, very successful first annual Moon Festival in the historic downtown West Covina. We had over 100 retail vendors. We had delicious food vendors and diverse performances from all cultures, from belly dancing to baile folklorico to different performances. So Indian, yes. Indian belly dancing, right? Oh, no? Indian dancing. Okay.
Cultural dance.
Okay. We also had a kids zone, and the evening ended with a special performance from Bruno and the Hooligans. And the beer garden was provided by the Cove Bar. So it was a very successful event. The rain didn't deter anyone from coming and enjoying. Matter of fact, I got these earrings there, so. we did some shopping. Also, just an update, our maintenance and public services crew is continuously out in the streets trying to make our streets better and maintaining our sewers. So here's some pictures of some potholes that are getting fixed, some repainting of our streets. And I don't know if you've driven by Azusa and Amart in the past year or two, but we've had some major improvements for our sewer lift station that we finished in the last couple months, but just some ongoing maintenance that we need to happen there. So thanks to our crew for doing things that we don't necessarily see on a daily basis, but that we rely on every day. So thank you to them. So we got some good news. West Covina was awarded grant money from LA Metro. We submitted a proposal for a one-year pilot turnkey microtransit program. I know that we are also working on some options for us moving forward on transit options from microtransit to rerouting the shuttle, our current Go West shuttle. So this is a grant of $659,090 for the implementation of a one-year pilot microtransit program. So that's going to help us move forward with, providing more options for our residents in regards to transit within our community. We also have the fee schedule update, so that'll be before the City Council November 7th. We did hold some community meetings and workshops, and it's still available online for residents to review. We have some more upcoming events, so if you missed the last few that I mentioned, please join us at Carktoberfest Car Show, October 21st between 11 and 3 p.m., and it's going to be at the Eastland Center. And then we also have our Festival Frights that's going to be on historic downtown West Covina on Glendora Avenue, October 28th from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. We had a wonderful costume contest last year, and we hope that we get even more participants this year. We had a wide range of contest or awardees, so it's from kids ages to even adults, and so everyone is welcome and invited to partake in the contest. And these are just a couple of the upcoming additional events. This Saturday, we have the Fire Prevention Week that we celebrated today with the Proclamation. They're having their open house at Station 2, Saturday, October 7th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. I can't pronounce that. The Fall Festival at the East San Gabriel Valley Japanese Community Center, also this Saturday, October 7th from noon to 6 p.m. Electronic waste collection this Saturday as well at the City Yard. So if you have batteries or anything like that you need to toss from 9 to 1 p.m. We have a Piñata workshop at Shadow Oak Community Center, October 12th from 4 to 5 p.m. And then District 1 community meeting with Mayor Pro Tem Brian Tabatabay, Saturday, October 14th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Del Norte Park. Let's get crafty with the Family Pumpkin Paint Party at Shadow Oak Community Center, October 19th from 3:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. Our next reading adventure is the Pandas Halloween Night, and that's October 24th from 4 to 7 p.m. at Shadow Oak Community Center. And then our senior center is always having events, and so there's Halloween Bashes Friday, October 27th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Cortez Park. So that's it for me this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. That was great.
Quick question.
Councilman Wu?
Yeah, okay, so this event on our website, or we promote so everybody know all this coming event. I think it's important to, I think the reason the Moon Festival, we have so many people show up because a lot of promotion, okay, the banner, this and that, so, and the social media, website, and TikTok, okay, Instagram, so it's just, when we prepare, okay, such a great event, we need people to show up. We need people to know. And I think we need to kind of send the request to the school district, have them to talk to their parent, okay, their newsletter, so everybody know we have those events. Mm-hmm. Because as staff and everybody work so hard to put it together, we want people to attend. Okay, this is my suggestion.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on to the consent calendar. Items 1 through 3. Does anyone want to pull anything? Okay.
I move the motion for 1, 2, 3.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Wu to approve the consent calendar with a second by Councilwoman Lopez Viado. Councilman Contos?
Aye.
Councilman Wu?
Aye.
Councilwoman Lopez Viado?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Tabatabai?
Aye.
Mayor Diaz?
Aye.
Items pass 5-0, Mayor.
Okay. Let's move on to number 4, bus shelter improvement consideration. Do we have a staff member that's going to be giving a presentation?
If you can give me a second, John from Transtech will be providing that report. I didn't see him. He's right here.
Hi.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be before you tonight to present this item. I'm going to provide some context real briefly before we go into a brief PowerPoint presentation. From time to time, Madam Mayor, staff gets an opportunity to be before you to present a status update regarding the physical assets of the city. In the realm of public works and city engineering, what we present and do, these assets are our network of roadways, our public facilities, buildings, open space, parks, and those assets that usually are forgotten, but they are there, such as the utilities, storm drain pipes, sewer pipes, and so forth. Tonight we're going to be discussing one of these assets, which is the amenity that we provide to our residents at the bus stops, those residents who use public transportation. Those are the bus shelter structures, the benches, and the trash receptacles and other amenities that are at our bus stops. You know, it is important to bring these reports before you because managing our infrastructure is a challenging and daunting task sometimes because of competing needs and scarce resources as far as funding is concerned. So we best try to provide the data and the information to the City Council to make decisions that are based on information. So, as you know, the city currently provides service to our residents as far as public transportation is concerned via our transit service, which is a city-supported transit service, which is our fixed route, the Go West.
Excuse me for a minute. I guess they want you to speak closer into the mic.
The microphone?
Yes, thank you.
Can everyone hear me now?
It's for the people who are watching online.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. So the residents are provided public transportation through the city's transit system, which has two components: the fixed route, which is the Go West shuttle, and the door-to-door on-demand service, which is the Dial-A-Ride. And as you know, Foothill Transit has a vast network that operates to our city as well. Now, starting last year, the city has been looking at perhaps the option or the opportunity to reconfigure the way that public transportation and transit is provided to the residents of the city of West Covina. That process has not been finalized. Certainly in the next few months, once the data is gathered and information is in place, staff is going to be before you to present those options. We briefly discussed the fixed route shuttle on-demand service, the Foothill Transit, and of course the potentially new move West Covina service, which is a hybrid, as it was alluded to earlier. Again, that report is going to be before you shortly. Next. Thank you. The existing shelters, bus shelters, include, as is seen in these photos, essentially a metal framing and a roof. And they have perforated metal panels on the four sides, trash receptacles, metal benches, and some of them are fitted with advertising boards as well, as you've seen. We provided this pictures so that you would get a view of a sample of the current status, mostly the status of disrepair of these bus shelters as they are now. There are some more examples. There are currently about 111 shelters that we surveyed recently in order to find out their exact current status. So 111 shelters were identified, they were surveyed, each one, and the result of the investigation and inspection was put in a matrix to be analyzed later as far as data gathering is concerned. Now, obviously, as far as the 111 shelters are concerned, there are options before us of what to do next. One of the options that could be considered by the City Council is refurbishing the existing shelters that are salvageable. Not all 111 are in such a state of disrepair that they cannot be salvaged. In fact, most of them are salvageable. They could be repurposed by removing them from their location and taking it for the repairs to be done, repainted, and brought back in place to be reinstalled. Some of them are structurally damaged or to the state that they cannot be effectively and efficiently, economically repaired. Those are in need of replacement. Now, we don't have exact dollars, but what we did, we investigated the amount of money that in the last 2 or 3 years have been invested by various municipalities for upgrading their shelters or replacing their shelters. So the price range that you see before you is based on the data that we have gathered from other municipalities. Typically, the cost of refurbishment of a shelter of this size and this model that we have throughout the city is going to be around $16,000 to $19,000 per each one. The cost to replace a shelter completely, get a new one, and install a new shelter is going to be anywhere between $35,000 to $60,000. Of course, that depends on the size and on the particular style that we may choose. So, if we were to take out the ones that are structurally damaged, not repairable in essence, and replace those, and refurbish the ones that are in a state that could be repaired and refurbished, we will be looking at a range of about $2 million as far as the 111 shelters are concerned. Now, there are pros and cons to each one of these options that I'm presenting before you, and we're going to go into that a little bit more in detail. Now, the city may want to consider also replacing all of the 111 shelters with new ones. If we were to do that based on the number that I provided earlier of the range of $35,000 to $60,000 per each shelter, then the cost would be, the cost of implementation of this option would be $5.3 million for the 111 shelters. With option A, you will not have, the city will not have the opportunity to create a uniform, more updated look as far as this amenity is concerned at its bus stops. However, this is a more economically, perhaps advantageous option to look at. Option B, on the other hand, gives the opportunity for the city to introduce a new element along its major thoroughfares, which is going to be a nice addition. Of course, that is going to be coming at a cost, higher cost. The other advantage is refurbished is refurbished. It's like a car that is repaired and put back into service. The service life of a refurbished shelter, bus shelter, is much less than a brand new one. The brand new shelters are more attractive in appearance. However, they are also built structurally much better than what we used to build 20, 30, 40 years ago. So the investment of $5.3 million that you're going to put in, if that is the option that the city chooses to have, is going to stretch out across the years much longer than implementing option A. Having said all of that, we know that it doesn't matter if we are talking about $2.3 million or $5.3 million, that's a major investment. And it's not very feasible. I failed to mention that anytime we have an opportunity to seek alternative funding, reaching out for grants, writing grant applications, we will do that in order to pay for the infrastructure that we need to maintain. And this will be no exception. However, it appears that if the City Council decides to move along with implementing either one of these options, that it has to be in a phased manner of replacement. Again, spending $2 million or $5 million is a big investment. Perhaps we don't want to do that. Perhaps we want to do it in phases. Pick the worst shelters first, replace or refurbish those, and then go to the next batch as funding becomes available. That's one option that we can discuss and pursue. Attached to your report, there is a table that summarizes each one of those 111. It mentions where they are, and it also gives you a status as far as which ones are more important or in a worse shape in a way, and take a higher priority for replacement or refurbishment. That's just a tool that we could utilize as the monies become available. Now, what do we have currently? We spoke to Foothill Transit because these routes are their routes. These 111 bus shelters are located along their routes. They have committed themselves to partnering with the city to pay for some of this. We looked at a number last week, and we certainly, with the assistance of the city manager, acting city manager, we definitely persuaded them to go back and be able to talk to the decision makers at Foothill Transit and become better partners and come up with a better funding source. As far as the other available funding is concerned, we've already identified in the city's budget, your budget of this year, $1 million from Measure M funds. Those are the Metro dollars that comes to the city via the 0.5 cent sales tax that the county charges, and it comes back to municipalities to spend on these amenities. And also, in addition, we're potentially identifying funds from Proposition A, which only could be used for public transportation services, that could be utilized towards implementing either one of those options that you may choose to have. That concludes my report, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Councilman Wu.
Yeah, on the 111 shelters, okay, how many belong to the Foothill Transit?
Those shelters are all city shelters.
I understand, but how many belong to the Foothill Transit route?
All 111 are located.
All Foothill?
Yes.
So no Go West?
No, because Councilman Wu, at the time, we were considering a hybrid solution for public transportation, which may not involve, which may be door-to-door operation.
Got it. So basically, all these 111 bus shelters all belong to the Foothill Transit. Am I right?
The bus stops are shared.
Correct. Yes, right.
Yes,
okay,
correct.
Thank you. So because I joined the COG, St. Gabriel Council Government, I met Matthew from Foothill, and I talked to Joe. I think Garcia, he's a planner. So basically, they told me they have some funding, to do the bus shelter to update. Couple of them, I think the one they really want to do is in front of their building. That's a West Fargo building. And they really want to do as a stainless and this and that. But again, I think my concern is the cost. The cost, $2 million to do bus shelters. Basically, it's just a beautification. The money, I don't know, you will squeeze this money from some other street paving or something more important. Okay, my request is we want, okay, the Full Hill Transit, hopefully they can pay everything and to make a simple design so it won't cost that much of money. Because I see some other city, they're very simple. They just either stand, they don't even need a bench. Okay, some of them, okay, don't even have a trash can. Because the trash can is problematic. So why you want to put the trash can over there and the people just ooze out and we have people calling us all the time. So why the design, okay, won't be a shelter for the homeless? Basically, it's for people waiting over there. Okay, and do you need, okay, and that cover on the top? Okay, and that is another issue. So my concern is what will be the cost? Because from $2 million to $5-6 million, that's a lot of budget, no matter it's from our transportation fund or that is from our budget. So we want to really be careful. But some of the shelter is really sad looking. Yeah, they really need to be updated or replaced. So if we want to do it, and my suggestion is phase by phase. The one worse, the one is really in trouble. We want, okay, Full Hill Transit to help us to pick up the tab. It's their bus shelter, okay? It's been a city, but I don't know how many people taking the bus. Okay, if the ridership is not there, then that is over there just a decoration. So how can we, okay, and work with Full Hill Transit, see how much money they're willing to, and how many bus shelters, okay, they want to update or replace. I think this is my suggestion.
If I could add, so as John alluded to, this report is only on the bus shelters that are along the Foothill Transit route. We didn't include the ones for Go West because we wanted to have clear direction if we were going to be realigning those shuttle routes, if we're going to be going to microtransit. And so before we did an investment in those shelters, of course, once we move forward with that, then we can focus on those shelters for our Go West.
Go West, we don't even know the route yet. We haven't decided the final route. Right. So where we put a bus shelter, we don't even know. But the Full Hill, there is stationary right there. Some of them look very bad, and the trash oozes out all the time because you inviting people to dump, not necessarily from the bus rider, more than from the neighborhood people just dump everything and it kind of ooze out. So I think we need to discuss with Full Hill Transit.
I want to know how much we're getting.
Yes.
And also how much we have in Prop A money. Is that what he mentioned?
I don't know off the top of my head, but we can bring that information back.
I'd like to know what's in the budget, what we have. Okay. Oh,
finance director has that answer.
You saved the day. You show up.
I think I'm saving the day. Excuse me, Mayor and Council. Prop A is exchanged to the city's general fund. So I would not recommend utilizing any Prop A because we maximize as much as we can and put it towards the general fund.
Okay, no Prop A money
I
then.
I agree. We have to protect the general fund.
I have an issue with going all new. I don't want to do that. That's a lot of money.
Too much.
Too much money. I would like to see the ones that are falling apart. There's some that are rusting that should be replaced. And I think phasing is probably a good idea.
I think I agree with Mayor. Okay, and the survey how many, and then we need to work with Full Hill.
Oh yeah, we need to find out how much
they're willing to pay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and Joe, we know Joe, the planner, and he will discuss with us too. And I already provide information to the acting city manager when I joined the meeting, and I talked to them, and they said they're willing to work with us, and they understand. Some of them is really sad looking. Okay? And but again, I think the funding is the issue. If Full Hill willing to do it, and starting with the ones really horrible, and they replace them.
Mayor, if I may add a couple of things. Part of the report mentioned what was alluded to by the acting city manager, that the staff would indeed come back before you based on the ultimate decision that the city makes on the transit system, its transit system. So if we go back to fixed route where we're going to have stops again, and we're considering having shelters, obviously we're going to come back before you and show those locations as well. It's just not going to be this 111. The other thing that Councilmember Wu mentioned, the priority list, absolutely, you're correct. One of those factors that was considered when thinking about which one takes priority, which one of these bus stops takes priority over the other one, was indeed the ridership number. So the higher the ridership number, the closest to a major center like a hospital or a school, and the more dilapidated the shape, on top of the list to be replaced.
The other question I had, these estimates here, 16 to 19,000 per shelter if they were refurbished, is that your number, or did we get someone to give us an estimate on this?
Those were the numbers, again, that we obtained by contacting other cities that have gone through the same process.
Okay.
And figuring out the range and averaging the range that they have been paying. Of course, the size and the types are different, not exactly matching on ours. That's why we provided a range.
Right. We still send the RFP.
We have to bid it out, and the real number is going to come in when we get the bids in place.
Let's get money from the Full Hill.
Yeah, we need money first.
The number that they discussed, sir, was a dent,
but
not a big enough of dent that we want to have. And that conversation is going to continue to happen with them, absolutely.
Geez, and they're bus stops. Councilman Contos?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just have a question about our recent history with regard to Prop A money. I thought that we sold our Prop A money back for 75 cents on the dollar, which means that, and then that 75% went to our general fund. In light of these needs, then why did we do that? Why couldn't we have just kept the Prop A money in the fund, so that way we would have all that full allocation for this project?
I'm not an expert. The expert,
but it's more to the city.
Behind you.
Yeah.
Good evening. So we transfer Prop A because we actually have other funding sources. So $1 million was set aside in Measure M just as a placeholder. We actually have capacity to do more in Measure M if we so choose and requested for Metro. We can easily increase our match, so to speak, for our portion. But I do recommend that we try to get more out of Foothill Transit before we proceed down that path. But we do have a lot in the Metro buckets to supply most of our transit needs, where we don't need to utilize Proposition A funds, and therefore we exchange the full amount we're able to the city's general fund.
Okay.
Really quick, I just want to share with you, Full Hill Transit has a lot of money. So we need to kind of have them to help to fix their shelter. Okay, to make it attractive so they can attract more ridership. Okay, I think that's important. We can get it from them because they have a lot of subsidy from the federal and state government.
I was going to add, Madam Mayor, to what the Director of Finance mentioned, Councilmember Cantos. Cities, sometimes they do that. They exchange the Prop A money because Prop A is a restricted fund. You can only use it for transit and transportation-related matters. However, once you exchange it, albeit at a discount, 75 cents to $1, then you put it back into your general fund. You can use it for all your general services. It gives you more flexibility to utilize that fund.
Oh, I see.
It's just that we have these needs now, and it just sounds like if we just kept that there, then we would have had more money that we could use for that.
Yep, but from what I've also heard, there's adequate level of money in Measure M, and there's a Measure R and all of that we can seek to allocate to these after we get the money from Foothill Transit.
Mm-hmm. So with those funding sources, those additional resources, Madam Director, would that bring us to the $2 million or to the $5 million level, or somewhere in between?
Well, I think one of the things that we want to wait for is also the number that we're going to get from Foothill Transit. So that'll be a determining factor, and then I'll let Stephanie respond.
So in Measure M alone for this budget year for 23-24, we projected to have at least over $4 million in Measure M. And that's after this $1 million was already allocated. So
wow.
Technically you could. You don't necessarily want to put it all towards that. I would probably recommend more of a phasing approach or capitalizing on Foothill Transit as well. But there is capacity in Measure M alone.
So we just have to decide whether we want new furniture or refurbished.
Well, I just want to see how much money we have. I don't want to spend the money we don't have.
No, I agree, totally.
And I think it's the budget we need to protect like our life. Okay, I think especially $2-3 million. And if this is a Full Hill Transit, all the bus stuff for them, then we should talk to them and say, let's work together. And then starting with, and I think ask them to fix 111, not going to happen. But ask them to fix some of the, like you say, the most used, the most popular ride, and the most horrible, okay, and the deteriorate. Okay, all those bus stop, we need to kind of
They can match our Measure M money. That would be fabulous.
So I think my suggestion is that direct the city to discuss with and talk to Joe and talk to Matthew. Okay, and I think they have a supervisor. Forgot the name. They came to me. They say they want to discuss with us. So if we can talk to them, okay, so we can see how much funding and how can we start in step by step. The road doesn't build in one day. We step by step to fixing the most difficult one, and from there we gradually, okay, to do it. So something we can afford, and something that Full Hill Transit willing to pitch in.
Right, Mayor.
So this is my suggestion, and so we move motion or something.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Tonight, we just wanted direction on which options that we could move forward.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. One last thing, if I'm not speaking out of school, it's going to help us, the staff, to bring back more accurate information to you next time around. If I knew which way you are leaning as far as the new shelters are concerned, because there are 12 of them, mind you, that we have to replace. Those are dilapidated, structurally unstable. We have to take care of those. There are some options that were provided to you. The $35 to $60,000 range can be narrowed down a little bit more next time we present the report if we knew which ones of these you are leaning towards, which one of the options that are on the slides. I think the last slide was showing some of the shelters that have been installed in other municipalities. There we go.
Madam Mayor.
Councilman Contos, can you please, Mayor Pro Tem wanted to speak.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, for giving me the floor. I want to piggyback on a point my colleague Councilman Wu made. I think one issue that we have is in terms of the Measure M money, not knowing what other priorities those monies can go to. Again, I think having a better understanding. I think also to, when we're told there's $1 million placeholder, but then during the conversation, told there's $4 million for this year, it doesn't really allow us to really envision what the possibility is, right? So when you're saying, $6 million for all new or $2 million for refurbished and new, and we are thinking we only have $1 million, we're almost like, why are we even having this discussion? So I think having real transparent numbers, and then also, very much being able to present to the public where Measure M monies, also to Councilman Cantos's point, where Measure A monies can also go, because it could be a situation where in a given year, using 100% of that Measure A money on really important infrastructure areas might be the best decision for the entire community. And so, again, understanding that, having that presented so we can make the decision to get 75 cents on the dollar may be the best decision for the community because of where our priorities and where Measure A can go. We might say, well, going there is just a luxury. We don't want to send it to luxury. I do think, when we do look at the shelters, obviously the ones that need to be completely replaced, but I think we'd also want to make sure that if these spaces that are being completely replaced aren't necessarily like the branded areas of the city, is there a way to take shelters that we're going to refurbish, move to those spaces, so that way the more branded areas of the city would get the brand new bus stops. That way, again, when people are coming to the city, they're seeing, right, these brand new, beautiful bus shelters that instead of replacing the dilapidated ones in areas of the city that are not necessarily the spaces that outside visitors or anyone is going to come to. I think it's an opportunity if we can do it that way, right? That you refurbish move it to that dilapidated area, and then we can get the brand new one in those spaces, like near Eminent, like near the mall,
Right.
like near Eastland, near, someone maybe takes the bus before they buy their Tesla, so, so thank you, Mayor.
Okay, can I say?
Councilman Wu.
Okay, and do we need a bus shelter at all? If something is not stable, can we just remove them, just have the stand? Because when I have a bus shelter outside my building, nobody sit inside because it's kind of filthy. So everybody stand outside. Okay, and the graffiti, carving, no matter how brand new you put over there, like our Francis Park, did you see how they destroy it, the vandalism? So the worry I have is we spend money in something so pretty, it's not going to last too long. Right away, it's going to be vandalized. So what I'm saying is this, I don't know how many people want to sit on a bus shelter at all. So, and the trash can. So anyway, I don't know if it's a requirement, okay, to put a shelter, okay, and then put a cover on the top. We barely rain, okay, so it's not really, okay, we need it. It's just a question, okay, that can we just remove them rather than, and have the stand, okay, and say where to go, what number is left? This is my question.
Madam Mayor, Councilmember Wu, there are many bus stops that do not have shelters. Shelters and benches are amenities that are provided in order to protect residents from the elements of the weather, to provide shade. Those covers are also there to protect them, to provide some shade and protect them from the sun, as well as rain when it rains in Southern California. But to answer your question directly, bus shelters, they are not a requirement. They are an amenity that are provided to the residents who use public transportation.
Councilman Contos.
Just as a consideration, because of many individuals who travel are individuals with mobility impairments who can't stand, we may want to consider at least having some way for some individuals to sit. But my question that I wanted to ask is with regard to the life of these refurbished bus stops. How long is the life of these specific refurbished bus stops if we were to get those done, and how long would the lifespan be of a brand new bus stop? And I realize they're different designs, but if you could give us an idea so we could think long term as well.
Almost half. The refurbished one would last probably, if done right, another 20 years. A new one is going to probably last about 40 years or so, 35 to 40 years.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Letty Lopez Villaro.
For somebody who has taken the bus, and you don't have to be mobile or old or anything, even young ones, you do get tired of standing and you just need a rest. So seats, I remember high school walking 45 minutes to high school if the bus passes, but you do get tired, and to stand all day, it's a burden. So seats are a requirement. I would just want to make sure that the bus stops are, usable, aesthetic, functional. I do like the fact that it's clear on all sides. So if you want to do something stupid, people can see you and report you, hopefully, that they could report. No, I understand. But at least when they're carving, you can clearly see, like that last, the last photo, its apartment complex behind, your camera's angles, your pictures or whatever. So I don't want the bus stops to be so comfortable you live in it. I want to just, it needs to be comfortable enough to be useful and functional. Yeah. Seats, I know on the pictures of our other buses, when residents say that they stay and they sleep all over, is because they don't have those bars in between. They can lie down fully flat and turn it into a bed. So when all those have to be taken into consideration, and making sure that it's functional, it's aesthetically looking, and it's visible in all angles, so that they are not comfortable to live there, but they are comfortable enough to use it and have a bit more opening. So yes, seats are required.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to, as a former bus rider for a very long time, and my mom, who's in the audience, who is a current user of our bus system, it is important for one, the shade is definitely important. And then I think one thing to understand, as we do have an issue with affordability and living in the community, a lot of the people who do take our public transit, these are hardworking people who, after a long days of work, this is not an exercise thing. I know we're kind of having fun, but it is a necessity, right? It's to show kind of respect for a labor force that makes our city work, and so. To that point, I do think those are necessities, and I'd like to make sure that we do respect that point. Thank you.
Madam Mayor.
Okay. Councilman Contos?
I'd just like to bolster and back the Mayor Pro Tem with regard to his idea about moving stops around. If when you come back with reports, look into that possibility or that practice, because it's a really good idea to have the branded areas have the nice bus stops and then the last one. I just really think that that's a good approach that should be incorporated into whatever you come back with.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
Absolutely. Mayor, Councilman Wu.
Thank you for moving me right away. We're not in November yet. Okay. So, but okay, I agree. Okay, I think the people take the buses. Okay, and I think I agree with I just try to save money, this and that. But if this something is a necessity, then we should do it. Okay, if this is everybody council all agree upon, I have no objection at all. The only thing my suggestion would be go back to the Full Hill Transit and see what's their budget and how they can help us. Then we go to prioritize to couple of them we can fix right away. Okay, I think this is direction. I think everybody should agree upon on that. We have no problem with that. That would be not too much then on the budget. At the same time, some of the bus shelters really need to replace or repair. So I think starting from that is we are going to do something to do some of the bus shelters, make sure that it's functional and safe and clean, and see how I think should be talked to the Full Hill Transit and the design can see what they design. I remember their CEO told me they want to do the stainless one, so maybe they can bring back to us and we agree upon. And since they pay for it, then we just let them do it. So I think this is my suggestion. Do we need to move the motion?
We have some. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. I also just want to, Councilman Contos made a great point about the longevity of a brand new versus a refurbished, because whatever we do pay today is going to be much cheaper than 20 years from now. So that is something I think we do really need to take into consideration, whether it is worth the investment then to go all new, considering 40 years versus how many would have to be replaced in 20 years at obviously a much higher cost to the city. So, I don't know if Councilman Contos wanted to say anything else to that, but I think that is something to consider. Thank you.
So I move the motion to accept all your suggestions, including the new one, but all based on the budget. Because how much it's going to cost us and how much we can afford it and how much Full Hill is going to pitch in. And we starting bring back to us and we look into it. And this is my motion.
Second.
Can we clarify the motion?
The direction is, to discuss with Full Hill Transit.
Yes.
And to survey, how much budget they are going to help us and to help themselves, since this is going to increase their ridership, and safety for all these bus shelter, and they prioritize how many location they are in trouble. We want to fix all those first. It's 10, 11, so we're starting with that, and locate all these problematic shelters that are really in trouble, and the budget, and see, and the Full Hill Transit, how much it's going to pitch in, and if bring back to us, see how we can utilize, and we pitch in some budget to fix those important one that is in trouble. And again, it's a new one or refurbished, it will be based on the budget we have. So you bring back to us. So that's my motion. Clear enough?
Pretty clear.
Thank you.
I have a motion by Councilman Wu to initiate discussion with Foothill Transit, survey the budget, provide safety of the bus shelters and prioritize locations that are in the deepest need, the strongest need. And I have a second by Councilman Contos.
And including their design too for four-wheel transits. And the standards, that's what they say.
Understood. Councilman Contos?
Aye.
Thank you.
Councilman Wu?
Aye, thank you.
Councilwoman Lopez Viado?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Tabatabai?
Aye.
Mayor Diaz?
Aye.
Thank you. Item passes 5-0.
Okay, now let's move on to the appointments for the Audit Committee. Is there a consensus to...
Okay, and do we need to approve David Lee? Okay, we have to approve him, right? So I'm going to move the motion to approve David Lee. He's currently the chair of...
David Lin.
Sorry, David Lin. Okay, David Lin. Okay, as a continue to be audit committee, but regarding the new resume, I think this one they looking for internship for the HR.
That's just one person's. I would like to make a motion to appoint a David Paredes.
You have the resume.
If anyone has any,
I have nothing against this.
Councilman Contos.
Madam Mayor, just in having reviewed the materials, I'm wondering if there'd be a way that we could interview any finalists, because I just don't feel like I have a grasp of what they fully can do. Mm-hmm. And especially because of the role of the audit committee, we just have to make sure that there are folks who are equipped and or can learn what needs to be done for them to fulfill their functions properly. So I'm supportive of appointing David Lin, but I would like, as an interim step for the remainder, I'm wondering if we could interview some folks to ask them more detail, because as all of you see from the paperwork, there isn't a lot of detail there, and I just have other questions about what are their skills with regard to being able to serve in an audit committee function, especially in light of the nature of why they're being appointed.
Councilwoman Lopez Villaro.
Also, the applicants that submitted that are looking for compensation. I mean, like I see one like $32 per hour, $62,000 per year. That should automatically be. I mean, first one, they should be told, right, that that's not included. And I'm sure the posting or listing had that information, but they still. Well, if they can't pay attention to small details, then having them here should automatically be out because there is no compensation and to request all this. So pretty much some of the applicants should be
$75
eliminated. I know I saw one here, $15. They'll take minimum wage or something like that. But that limits how many candidates we actually have. But yes, I know sometimes when we do have applicants in reference to Councilman Cantos, when we do get applicants, I know in the past I have personally called them and interviewed them myself. I'll meet them somewhere for a cup of coffee interview to go in details of like what's expected and everything. So, I'm for that. If you need more time, I have interviewed people in the past. So, but I just wanted to make note about the compensation part. So, thank you.
Any other? Okay, so the reason why I had selected this guy is because he's a veteran, and I'm all for supporting veterans so that they can help us out and work with our community and work with our audit committee. So that's why I had selected him, and we don't get very many applicants. And this person did not request a certain amount of money. He wasn't saying he wanted a large amount of money at all. So that's why I had thought I would, submit or nominate him as.
I second you.
Okay.
Okay, so I have we have chosen to continue with David Lin on the board, and we also would like to nominate David Paredes.
Yes.
To the audit committee. I have a motion by Mayor. Well, do we need to take
it? Be divided to two.
Take them separate, yes. So the original motion was by Councilman Wu to reappoint David Lin, and I did not hear. Did I hear a second?
that. I'll second.
And a second by Mayor Diaz. Councilman Contos?
Aye.
Councilman Wu?
Aye.
Councilwoman Lopez Viado?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Tabatabai?
Aye.
Aye, Mayor.
Mayor Diaz?
Aye.
That one passes 5-0. I also heard a motion by Mayor Diaz with a second by Councilman Wu to nominate David Paredes to the Audit Committee. Councilman Contos?
Abstain for reasons stated earlier.
Councilman Wu?
Aye.
Councilwoman Lopez Viado?
Well, I mean, I wanted to give the opportunity if Councilman Contos wanted to interview. I'd love to bring in the best person for the position. I would love to give Councilman Contos the opportunity to interview.
Fine.
So, I mean, I guess I'll abstain.
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem Tabatabai?
Madam Mayor, that could be a no vote.
Oh, okay.
Councilmember Contos had to abstain because he lacks information, essentially, interviewing. So,
Vote no.
So I'll vote no.
And I'll vote no.
Mayor Diaz?
Aye.
Item does not have enough votes.
Okay.
So we have to interview the person.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, we don't all do. I mean, if.
No, Foley wants to interview him.
So does that mean,
Okay.
so then on
Do it
the.
fast. Okay.
So I just wanted to, with this, come back to the next, well, I'm pending the interview within, I don't know when you plan to do the interviews within 2 weeks, or would you, Councilman Cantos, inform the city that you've done your interview so that it could be brought back to council?
Yes.
Okay.
So, Oli,
Fast.
oh, I'm sorry, Councilman Contos. Will you be interviewing everyone that's here or just?
Well, there are ones that I want to
Oh, okay.
eliminate.
Oh, okay.
But there are two that, I mean, including David, who you mentioned, I want to interview him and another person. So just wanted to see.
Okay.
But just for my own, just to do my due diligence.
Yes. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mayor. Would applicants still be able to apply, or is it now closed?
I have to confirm with the HR if the listing is closed or not.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Let's move on to item number 6. Consideration of reorganization of this, city departments. Do we have someone that will be?
I will be giving the presentation, Mayor. Good evening. So this item was a Mother May I from a previous council meeting. Staff was asked to look at reorganizing the departments and met with staff, and we looked at the departments and how they're organized now and came up with a proposal. So before you tonight, we have a proposed new organizational chart for the city. This is currently our structure. So we have the city council, below them is the city attorney, and then the city manager position. Under the city manager, we currently have 2 assistant city managers that act as directors for 2 departments. One is public services, which encompasses community services and maintenance. We have the second assistant city manager position that acts as the director of community development, which oversees planning, code enforcement, building and safety, engineering, and economic development and housing. Then we have the other departments at city clerk's office, finance, human resources, and risk management, fire, and police. Throughout the years in West Covina, we've contracted or reduced director positions and staffing with starting, I think, in like 2018, 2017, when we were going through budget deficits. And so we were consolidating departments to help address staffing reductions and to do salary savings with directors that were retiring or leaving. Since then, we continued to have budget deficits and having to cut back. And then we were hit with COVID. So as additional staff members left, we continued to consolidate those departments. And that's how we ended up with the structure that we have now, where we don't have a director for public works and we don't have a director for community development. Those were assumed under the assistant city manager roles. Since in the last year or two, we've been able to now expand our services. We're reopening up facilities since the pandemic. We've added new programming to our facilities. We're adding new events, as you can tell from earlier, the number of events that we've had in the last couple weeks and the events that are coming up. We've added special events throughout the year. We're also increasing our staffing levels. Again, we've added a code enforcement division that wasn't here previous to, I believe, 2018. And so with the addition of new staffing, the addition of new special events, the addition of more capital improvement projects that we're investing, we're proposing the following org chart. You can go to the next page. So we would have a Public Works department, and we will go into the org charts within that department in a little bit. Community Services department, and we are looking to add a deputy director position in that department. And then the Community Development department, so that department would be restructured to have also a new position, a deputy director position. And then under that, it would be planning, building and safety, and engineering. And we are proposing a new position, which would be a CIP project manager. As I mentioned, we've increased our CIP budget, which means that we're doing a lot of projects out in our community, which is great. We've contracted out our building and safety and engineering, which TransTech, and they've been doing a great job, but we do need that in-person position to help manage the projects on the city side, to get those capital improvement projects continuously and going without any delays. And then with the creation of the code enforcement director position, we will be separating that out from community development and creating it as its own department. And I know that it was brought up a couple council meetings ago, what we were going to be doing with the HR director position that is currently vacant. We did go out to recruitment, and staff is recommending that we combine or consolidate finance and human resources and risk management. Those two departments have a lot of crossover in the work that gets done and a lot of the documents or paperwork that gets processed from hiring employees. And so it's a good fit that we can better utilize staff across both departments to manage those departments. And once again, we'll go into that proposed new structure for that department. Fire, police, and city clerk's office, there's no proposed changes. Community and economic development would go under the city manager's office. This is something that a lot of cities do. It makes economic development a priority in the city. And we've done this in the past where our community and economic development division, which includes economic development, housing, and our successor agency, have reported to the city manager directly. So this is something we've done in the past. The other position, which would be a reallocation of a position, would be adding assistant to the city manager in the city manager's office. And so next we will go to the proposed public works. So it would be Public Works Director. Below that, it would be Public Works Deputy Director, which it was vacant with the retirement of Raul, and we are looking to fill that position. Then we have the Public Works Superintendent, and below them we have building lead worker, maintenance coordinator for trees, maintenance coordinator for fleet, maintenance coordinator for sewers and streets, and then an electrician, and those are the org charts below them. I don't know if you have any questions, or we can come back to it. I'll go on to community services. So we'd have a community services director, a deputy director, for community services. So this is a new proposed position. Under that would be the recreational services supervisor, and then who would then have 4 services coordinators, 1 at each facility, in addition to the head cook at the senior center, and part-time. So the positions with asterisks are part-time positions. I did want to note that we went through with the recent hiring of our recreational services supervisor. The community services department did go quite some time without having any management between the director and our coordinators. And you could see now we're proposing to make that change so that there's more oversight and more, there's more oversight in the department. Next is the code enforcement org chart. So it'd be our code enforcement director. We do have the code enforcement manager position, but that has not been, that was reallocated to the code enforcement director. And then we have the code enforcement supervisor. We have 4 part-time code enforcement, 4 full-time code enforcement officers and 7 part-time positions available in that department. And then this is the new proposed finance human resources organizational chart. We have the finance director, and the only really new portion would be the HR manager. So we're just putting that track for HR under the finance director. And then the last one is the community development director position or department. We would be, this is the one where we're proposing a new deputy director for community development. As mentioned, it'll be overseeing the planning manager, and then a proposed new position for the CIP project manager. As I mentioned earlier, both building safety and engineering are contracted out, so this deputy director would be overseeing those contracts. Part of this design is to provide a path forward in how we'd want to have the city move forward to in these departments. As mentioned, the director positions for community development and community services and public works, they're currently not budgeted for. So until those positions are budgeted for, we would, the deputies' positions would report to the assistant city managers to provide that layer of management or supervision. This also creates a pathway for succession planning so that we can maintain our staff and hopefully help build or grow our staff to help progress in their careers within our community. So if you have any specific questions, please let me know.
Councilman Wu?
Thank you so much. Okay, I think the last time we talked about how can we be each department more accountable and responsible for their duty. So not like currently some mingling. So we request. So the question I have is, the first thing is, okay, it sounds like, okay, each department we have somebody in charge. Okay, for example, public work. Okay, then we have a deputy director Raul position that would be replaced. Okay, refurbish, okay, and recruit, okay, for that position. And then the new position will be community service, because community service becomes so big now because we have the sportplex, okay, and then we need to be focused. Okay, somebody has to be in charge, okay, so they can be always year round. Right now, it's just like pulling all the places. It's not really the capacity of their potential. Okay, hopefully with this, okay, the issue is budget. Okay, I know we need to go to the project manager because it's really problematic right now. A lot of project from Transtech engineering, and then, okay, project manager is like not really, okay, doing the right thing. So we need somebody in the city really to see all those projects. For example, what happened to, okay, those, Frontier and dig the whole this and that. Where's our project manager to supervise, make sure they don't damage our street? But when it's done. Then we kind of in trouble, and then how to deal with all this Frontier, okay, and mess. Okay, so we needed some project manager that's work for the city, okay, and with city benefit. Because transit, no matter what, it's the outsourcing. It's the outsourcing company. So we need somebody, the project manager, to see that, for example, the traffic sign on the citrus. How long it take? It took forever for them and not even do it right. They have a sign go straight and they have a sign still over there, say right turn only. They didn't do it, okay, one time, and they live over there for a week, become a laughing matter. So project managers need to supervise everything, hopefully. I think, and the thing only I care is about budget, okay, is hopefully this won't have any dent. We want to make sure, I know, okay, all creators is responsible and accountable, and hopefully the budget issue, we create this two positions. I think this needed. Okay, position, hopefully, and maybe finance director can explain to us, okay, that this can be managed, okay, and because the two position, and then the deputy. So this is my question.
I can get started while she's on her way up. So the intent, yes, was to not create too many new positions with this reorganization. We understand we want to be sustainable moving forward, and when we add new jobs, we add it this year, but that means it's a long-term cost that we have to account for. So of what's being proposed, we are proposing some reallocation of existing positions. Like I said, the assistant to the city manager, we're already have someone that we would move or what is it called? Reclassify, thank you. Reclassify into that position. So it's not that we're creating a new position. The only two would be, like I said, the deputy director, which would be proposed to be funded from the general fund, and then the project manager for CIPs could be funded through engineering and the capital projects that they work on.
Basically, restricted fund.
Yes.
Okay, and another question I have is I didn't see the communication division, because we need somebody really help us to, okay, and the PR, okay, communicate, because we sometimes we don't even know what's going on. So if we have or our resident don't know what's going on, or our website, so I think that communication division or department, okay, and I think division is better. Okay, we don't want to create way too many of, but do we? Who has a communication division?
So there's two things. Our IT is under finance, and that deals with all the computer or programming, things like that. On the proposed one, the assistant city manager would be able to focus on assistant city manager positions and / a PIO officer, which is a public information officer, and that individual would be responsible for making sure that we, all the communications, press releases, are handling our social media, making sure our website's updated, working with the different departments to making sure it's current.
So who is that person? Or who is that?
It would be the assistant city manager / PIO. We've had that system in the past too, where we've had a deputy city manager do the PIO position as well. And like I mentioned, this was a proposal that does not include the creation of too many positions. We'd love to have a PIO or a position specifically to just doing public information all day. I mean, if you're on social media, it could take up your whole day doing that. But
So I'm sorry. So basically, each department, they all have a leader, all have either deputy or directors. Okay, they're in charge, so they can free up the assistant city manager time to do overall supersede. Okay, and supervise everything, including the communication.
That's the goal with this proposal, so that each department would have a department head, and then we would free up the positions of the assistant city manager, so they're not wearing multiple department hats.
Because right now Roxanne is doing almost a lot of stuff. Okay, so that's almost okay, and the same thing to you. You have to do every Tuesday meeting. You have to do today, and the next Tuesday you have to do planning. This is humanly impossible to do a right job. So we understand we need to kind of free up all your positions, so you have somebody in charge. So in that way, you in the much higher position to oversee everything. Last question. Okay, I think about the economy development. I think this is something very important. So you don't want it to be a single department, because that is bring the butter and bread to the city. That is recruit there's some people over there. I think we have the position, the so-called ECD manager, economy development manager. That's your old position. The job is bring business to the city, promote the city, create all the opportunity for people to come to our city to check into it. That is very important to us because that is how the survival income come to our city.
Oh, that's how I started my career here in redevelopment, doing economic development. So I would love to have a director for that department, and that's something that we can probably, address if and when we have funding to do so.
Got it.
We would.
You want to be conservative, maybe this in the future. Right now, we just want to make sure we have the public work, community service, and planning, and everybody in charge. Okay, thank you so much. I'm done with my time. Appreciate it.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to speak on what Councilman Wu talked about in terms of the Sportsplex. The Sportsplex is a very unique, complex institution that the city controls, and I think that needs to be just a separate entity. We need someone who is running that complex, who we can hold accountable, that can come to council and present and show us what they're doing to bring in business, to continue to have the scheduling going on, that they're also in charge of the maintenance of the facility. Plus, once we bring in private entities to run the restaurants. So again, I think in terms of our organizational chart, that really needs to be intentional and focused and needs to be a separate entity on here. Because the way we're currently doing it now, again, there's no clear direction on who's in charge. We've gone through quite a few folks. Again, the staff that maintains it, right? We're constantly pulling folks, and then we're just not able to have that consistent presence to bring in the scheduling, right? And to make sure that it's every single day. It should have activity, right? From adult softball leagues to travel leagues to, just everything that could go on then to when we have the festivals there and 4th of July. I mean, if the city's going to maintain ownership of it and run it, then we need to run it like a private business would run it so it can be successful.
Mayor, can I quickly?
Councilman Wu.
I 100% agree with you. And I think we need to focus on a couple of, very important facility, for example, because community service is such a huge resource. We have 4, and the facility center, and we have 16 parks, and we have this huge, humongous sportplex, and that need to address. But my suggestion is we need to have somebody in charge first and let this person to tell us, and how he going to create a budget, how we create more staff with somebody in charge. So in that way, if we cannot just go in and hire a lot of people, we don't have that budget. So my suggestion is, let's get at least the head of the community service in charge of all these 16 park or facility first, and have he or she, this person, that acting city manager is going to hire, find a capable person, and to give a proposal how he maybe separate an entity that only focus on the sport plan. But that will cost, again, budget, this and that. But sometimes you need to invest to make. But again, I think this is something, it's kind of safe for I to see. Don't create more bureaucracy, more director, but with the head of the department coming in, for them to tell us what we want to do more, in detail, and then we can see this person is capable to do what we want. So rather than just hire a bunch of people, impossible, it's not going to work right. So this is my suggestion.
Madam Mayor,
Councilman Contos.
Would there be a way that we could add a bubble to create, not that we fund it now, but just like the way we did with code enforcement, why there's a bubble there where it's not a funded position, but it's just there as a placeholder? Can we add a sportsplex position there and just understanding that it's not funded now, but it's at least there as a placeholder. So that way later when somebody comes in to direct, then we'll get to that bridge when we come to it. But backing what the Mayor Pro Tem has said, if we really were to have at least a position there as a placeholder, I really would be supportive of that. Right, no, but it could be marked in whatever the color is that shows it's not budgeted for yet.
If I can add, since there are positions that we're going to have to go to the Human Resources Commission to create or to change the job descriptions to reflect this change, we can definitely add a position that will oversee the sportsplex through that process.
Great, thank you. Right, exactly.
Council.
I was just going to agree with Mayor Pro Tem in regards to a sportsplex because it's not reaching its full potential because you don't have a dedicated full-time staff there to oversee the whole things, to bring in the people, to be the main person in charge. So I do agree that it needs a dedicated person. Otherwise, it's going to continue the way I want it to reach its full potential, but you need somebody dedicated there. So yes, I agree on.
You get to hold them accountable as well.
Correct. And my suggestion is still get the head of department in first, have the person to, separate, to have his or her staff to do specialize in the area, and then we have to go to the budget, we have to go to HR. So anyway, because you cannot build Rome in one day, we have to step by step. But at least make sure our structure right, accountability for each department.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to move to approve of the reorganization with that small amendment of putting in a bubble for an unbudgeted position to be determined with further details at a future point.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Contos to approve staff's recommendation of the council or of the department reorgs with a bubble for another position at a future time to oversee the sportsplex with more detailed information to come back. And I have a second by Councilman Wu. Councilman Contos?
Aye.
Councilman Wu?
Aye.
Councilwoman Lopez Viado?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Tabatabai?
Aye.
Mayor Diaz?
Aye.
Item passes 5-0, Mayor.
Okay, we're done with our agenda. Now we're going to move forward. Okay, let's move forward. Let's see. I'm going to report out the AB 1234. I'd like to announce that I attended the the League of California Cities conference September the 20th to the 23rd. It was a great experience. I was able to attend several of the sessions that they had there. I was able to attend the Women's Caucus as well. And one thing that I remember, or that I can't forget, is that I have to bring forward is that I went to a class where they brought up the RENA issue. And that was a major issue, and that's a major issue throughout California. And I think a lot of cities are having trouble in being able to meet the RENA. That legislation has, our state legislatures are trying to impose on us and trying to make sure that we comply with having these housing developments that some places just don't have the room. And we had a few people that were really upset about that. We also attended the expo, which had some really nice items that we may be bringing forward to the council. We were able to meet, who did we meet? This guy who knows Mylan. He is the one that's creator of the app that we use. And I thought that was very interesting. He had nothing but good things to say about him, saying that he was a great guy and that he was able. His name is Kevin from the Go app, and had nothing but good things to say about Mylan. We met with Precision Concrete Cutting, who are the individuals or the company that's doing the work on our sidewalks in when they shave them. And so we met with them. We met with the lighting company, and we met with the water fountain people that have a facility for dogs. I mean, it was great. So I don't know if Councilman Cantos has anything in addition that he'd like to add, but he was also there as well. And I have to say, our acting city manager did a fantastic job of helping us out there. I mean, she facilitated everything for us, and I just want to thank you. Thank you for taking care of us out there. And it was fun, and it was fun meeting a lot of different council members from all over the state. So it was a great experience, and I think all council members should attend.
And adding to the mayor's remarks, it was really a productive time. In addition to networking with other council members, we also got to see up close what their priorities are. And a lot of us came together to really discuss issues addressing homelessness and how do we support efforts both to meet the needs of the unhoused community and also to address concerns that the community has regarding keeping the community clean and safe and everything. And it was really a wonderful experience because it also provided us with an opportunity to ask a lot of detailed questions from fellow council members in their communities. How do they address that issue? How do they approach recreation and sports and youth support? Or how do they work with their school districts? Or how do they support the environment, etc.? It was really an extensive time with meeting one person after the other, and it really I think that in the next several months all of you will see the fruits of the seeds that were planted because of those conversations that we had there. And what was also really important for our purposes is that various individuals who didn't know about West Covina and who we are, they had an opportunity to hear from the mayor and me as we had those discussions and shared what we do here. And various cities were literally interested in hearing, how do we organize our events? How do we rally the community together? What do we do to focus on positive, productive growth? So I look forward to taking action as we each engage in follow-up based on the contacts that we made from the folks that we met there.
Thank you. Any other?
Can I say something?
Councilman Wu?
I did attend the League of Cities back in 2016 January when I just got elected in 2015, and I went to Sacramento with Lois Johnson, and it's extremely memorable and very educational trip. And I saw your picture. I did exactly what you guys did. Okay, you went to the Capitol, and I say, hey, contact the senator or assembly to give you a private tour. And they said, we are already here. And they did the tour. They showed me the pictures. So I say, man, it's exactly the same angle. Okay, a couple pictures. Then maybe they give you the same tour every time. So, but it's already 8 years ago. But it's extremely, okay, and very effective, okay, for you represent the city and talking to entire California city. And everybody's so friendly. Okay, everybody just happy to see each other, and a lot of meeting or seminar is extremely informative. Okay, it's really helped you a lot. I learned a lot 2016 when I was brand new. So I went there and listened. Okay, and they have new mayors training or new elected. So I think this is great. Okay, so I'm glad you guys went. Okay, I hope you guys learned a lot of stuff. Here, I want to really quick say something about the city. I want to thank city to put a couple events together. Okay, the first one is Touch a Truck. Okay, and then with a new venue over here on our parking lot, is amazing. I show up, I park over there. I can even find a parking space. Okay, but I will park next to the library, and I walk down, and I see nothing but crowded people, and a lot of children. They're happy, and they do it touching all the truck, many truck for you to touch. Okay, so I don't get it. Why people laugh? It's really a lot of truck for you to charge. You have a trash truck, you have a swatting truck, okay, you have a dump truck, you have a lot of truck, and the kids like honking and they're playing and a lot of happy family, and I'm really happy to see and extremely successful. I think this is one of the most successful touch a truck event for 8 years when I touch all those truck. Okay, the one in the Cortez, okay, Cortez is pretty not popular, okay, fuel truck. But now in this, I think city need to continue next year, same thing over here. Second, okay, I want to thank city to put this very, very grand and extremely successful of state of a city. Okay, I know Mayor Rosario Diaz, you miss your mayor. Another 3 meeting, you will be off dial. Okay, and you say, I don't want to go. I want to stay here. Okay, and you ask the Mayor Pro Tem Tabai want to let you stay, but you did a good job, and the state of city is very good. Okay, and everybody enjoy it, and it's grand, and that sportplex showing how grand. People are very impressed. Invision people told me, and their PR guy, they say, never see something like this in any city. The unity and the proud of West Covina. They say, oh my God, they're not from our area. I think they're from Beverly Hills, this and that. They say, we are doing something so grand, and they're very impressed. So meaning what? They say they should sell more cars and give us more tax dollars. Number 3, okay, Saturday, we have a CAWC put out the money, put out the effort to make this magnificent Moon Festival. That's amazing. 120 vendors. Okay, and the 20, 30, all different kind of culture background to perform. Look at how colorful they are. I was so impressed with the Indian dancer. Okay, this is the first time I saw their full force come over here with all these young lady. Very proud about their heritage. I think that's what we want to emphasize. Be proud about your heritage. No matter it's Filipino cultures, Indian cultures, or we have Egyptian belly dancer too. They're very proud. Okay, they're very colorful, and the Chinese dancer and all those young kids playing. And the nighttime we have Bruno and the hooligan, and they bring down the roof, and everybody enjoying. It's so crowded. And I check with all the vendors; they saw all the food, so I think they're very happy. And they say, "Hey, when you guys want to do it again?" I said, "I don't know. We have to do fundraising again." So I want to again here to thank CAWC, Chinese American Association, to put out this $30,000-$40,000 for fundraising and put this beautiful unity community event, okay, to our city. And then we need more outer group people to willing to do this. So in that way, not everything come from city. A lot of time we can have other community like Kiwani Club. They doing the Christmas children parade. And the CAWC, hopefully they have stomach to do it, the second annual Moon Festival or Spring Festival. So because they have a lot of connection to bring all this, performance, into the city. And we need everybody pitch in and to help out. And I talked to CAWC president. If they have I think they have some leftover with all the donation, and plus they donate a lot of money. They want to give all these children, and the Edgewood band, and they want to give them the band, the scholarship, and they want to, give the $1,000 to each high school band. I think this is something very good for them. They get it from community, they return back the community to our children. So thank you, CAWC, to do such a beautiful event. And I have a wonderful time. Even I cannot feel my leg at the end of the night, because they all dancing with me on the stage. Thank you so much.
Anyone else? Well, I hope I don't get in trouble for this, but I'd like to congratulate our pastor, Samuel Martinez. He became a grandpa. He had his first grandbaby. Yeah, so congratulations to him. Many blessings to him. How wonderful. And I also want to wish Rhea Celaya happy birthday. Today's her birthday. She was our singer at our State of the City and at the Moon Festival. And she is a wonderful, wonderful performer.
Beautiful.
And with that said, I'm going to just do it again. I want to thank our staff. We have a great staff. They made the Centennial State of the City wonderful. They worked really hard on it. I know they did. I was there the day before, and I was watching everything. And I just want to thank you all. You guys have done a wonderful job, and our assistant city managers and our acting city manager, you all done a good job. Thank you so much.
When we can have a dinner again, the food is really good.
It is, yes.
Really good.
The Senior Center, Monday through Friday.
I'm going.
Thank you. Thank you. So with that said,
I'm qualified. I'm ARP.
Good night, everyone, and thank you.